It's the Mike and Dylan show. It's Thursday night, and we got a little qualifier before the big TCM All Star race. I'm Mike James from Eastbound International. My good friend Dylan Langell from up along. Dylan, what's going on? It's the events, mytrack.com. 40 laps on the board. We're going to take one here tonight.
Hey, you know what? I got my 3 votes in for Eastbound yesterday. I got to do it again for the Advance My Track contest to give you guys a little bit of money before race season. But happy to be here. We got the big TCM All Star Showcase coming up right after this. Mike, this kind of reminds me of the old Winston All Star races where we had kind of like a prelude before the main event. We've got 10 drivers in the Rock gunning for one last shot to make the All Star Showcase. Although Jason Gosse got the big win last night in that other last chance race. So he's secured in here. He's just getting some extra laps at New Smyrna tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be 250 laps on the board just immediately after this race. So big Super Bowl tonight for the TCM All-Star Showcase, Super Bowl, whatever you want to call it, World Series. It's the best of the best. You had to win a race to get into this one. So, but we're getting set here. 40 laps will be on the board. We're already gridding already. Jason Gosse has the pole. He'll have his partner in crime, Nick Codner, to the outside. It'll be Corey Reed, Bob Hutchins, Tyler O'Rourke, Michael Rideout, Chantel Pottle, Phil Fowler, Noah Healy, and Ryan Walsh. Dylan, lights are out. We're going straight into this.
Oh, we're not messing around. This is what I like when we go right to racing. But 10 drivers on the grid, 9 need to win this race to move on to the big TCM All-Star Showcase coming up shortly. 40 laps here in New Smyrna. Kick off with Jason Gosse grabbing the green. One driver already going right towards the bottom. And looks like they were able to straighten out that car. That was the 27 of Corey Reed. And oh, Corey's crooked. Corey's spinning in turn 2. And he taps the wall on the bottom.
We are still green flag. They're going to let this one go. So Corey's going to have to get on the hammer here. Reed's been pretty stout in these Eastbound special events. So hopefully we can get a costume for him before the 40 lap comes out. And he can get back in the lineup. But right now, it's all Jason Gosse and Nick Codner, both teammates from the DC Auto team from Torbay, Newfoundland and Labrador. They got their hands full as Bob Hutchins now is on the tail.
So if Jason Gosse wins this race, that means the driver who finishes second will be invited to the 250-lap All-Star Showcase coming up. So you just mentioned there, Mike, teammates. I can see a little teamwork happening. And what's surprising is Nick Codner, he made the All-Star Showcase. He almost won the All-Star Showcase last year. He won a Talladega Super Speedway race, if I remember, in 2020. So Nick, he's in a good position to try and advance, and he's got a teammate right in front of him.
Yeah, calm and composed, but Bob Hutchins, I spoke to him just earlier on. He missed out on the opportunity last night to qualify as he just didn't make it in time for that server. But here tonight, he is definitely going to be hungry for the win. So these boys from DC Auto may have their handful as Bob Hutchins kind of lingers back there in the P3 position.
And later on, every driver who enters the All-Star Showcase will advance, but only one, maybe 2, depending if Jason Gosse wins, will advance. There's Noah Healy in the 84 car, a little further back, so we've already got some spacing between the field. There's Phil Fowler, and Ryan Walsh, the back end crooked on the 19, and he takes a spin down to the pits.
Yeah, this is going to be unfortunate for Ryan Walsh as we're still under green flag, and Walsh now has to report to pit road, so he's going to take advantage of that, but I don't think he wanted to go down pit road, but that's where he ended up. So Walsh on pit road could go down a lap. We do have the lucky dog here tonight, so if caution does come out, he will manage to get back on that lead lap. So Corey Reed going to pick up a spot here from that earlier incident. He is about 11.9 seconds off the pace from our leaders. Mid-pack, Noah Healy in the 84. He's got the 11 of Phil Fowler, like you just said. And then Chantel Pottle in the 8th position as she moves up a spot now as Ryan Walsh has exited the server. That's going to be the end of the 19 tonight as obviously a little bit of frustration there on that caution.
If you notice, Bob Hutchins made a move around the number 54, Nick Codner. So now Bob is in the transfer position to make the All-Star Showcase. And Bob had some solid runs in the TCM Weekly iRacing Series in Nashville. New Smyrna, kind of a similar track to Nashville. So if Bob got some solid laps there, he should be okay here. Not as much banking. And now we're going to have our first caution in the race.
Now, it was off the screen, but we're having a peek right now of the 11 of Phil Fowler. So we're going to bring Paul Showtime Strickland to take us back to give us a replay on this one.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Going to take a look at the very first Kong Beer Bong instant replay. Going to focus in here on the number 11 car of Phil Fowler. Looks like a little bit of side-by-side action between he and the 84 of Noah Healy. And you can see 11 just kind of hits the apron a little bit, kind of comes up, slaps the side of the 84 car, spins himself around, comes back up into the racing groove, but he does grab a gear and get going again. Looks like it might have knocked the toe out of that race car, driving just a little bit off there. So you're definitely gonna be able to see him to come down pit road. No quick repairs that we're used to here tonight, so gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way and bang out some of that sheet metal virtually.
Kind of looked like he was going for the crossover, got to the bottom, but just couldn't control it a little bit too deep into that corner. So unfortunately, he is still on pit road. So pace car is coming around. That may put him down a lap here, Dylan. Our leader is still the 41 of Jason Gosse. And look at that, Bob Hutchings, the 77. Realistically, right now, if we have a finish right now of Jason Gosse winning this race, the real prize right now is that P2 position.
That's going to be pretty big. And Jason is a solid iRacer. I've had the chance to announce a bunch of his races, and he got his big win last night. I wasn't along for the ride, but I heard it was a doozy coming towards the end. So we had a couple of other drivers get some, we'll call it some passes as well to advance to tonight's 250-lap race, including Craig Tully, Brad Eddy, and Conrad Murphy. So we got a few different drivers who didn't automatically make it, but to the grant of Tim Terry and a couple other drivers not able to make the show tonight, including John Fitzpatrick, they're going to sub in. So we're going to have a full field for the All Star Showcase coming up.
Well, Phil Fowler is going to go down one lap at this point. Hopefully he can get back, and if another caution comes out, he can get that lap back. One driver we haven't talked about tonight, brand new. It is his debut here tonight, the 88 of Michael Rideout from Conception Bay South. Good buddies with Tyler O'Rourke, and looking forward to seeing what he has for us. Brand new to the Newfoundland iRacing and Eastbound eSports. I know he's big into the drag racing, and looking forward to seeing what he has for us as we take a peek at the 88 Nationwide Chevrolet. Brand new to the sport here tonight, making his debut. Could he be the one that goes to the All-Star case on his debut night?
You never know with iRacing. The weirdest stuff happens sometimes. Mike, I imagine a lot of these drivers are also getting their real race cars ready. Racing season's creeping up soon here in Nova Scotia and on the Rock, right?
A lot of folk are actually really busy in the shops. Hence the low car counts here tonight. We have about 26 iRacers in Newfoundland. Only 10 showing up for the qualifier here tonight. But look at this. Codner drives it down to the bottom, and he's got the 77 scrubbing off the back bumper. Hutching means business here tonight as Codner. They're wrecking behind him, actually. They're piling up there in the midpoint. That's the 27, the 88, and the 9. Tyler O'Rourke and the 88. Possibly involved as we take a peek back. It looks like the 9's mid-air here, so that's going to bring our good friend Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. and the Kong Beer Bong replay.
And here we have it, some crazy close racing back here, almost three wide, there it is. There you can see the 27 getting into the 9 just a little bit, collecting the 88, the 27 getting another bump ski there as well. A couple of hard hits back at the mid-pack. These drivers know exactly what's on the line here tonight, trying to get into the coveted Tim's Corner Motorsports All-Star Showcase 250 here coming up right after this. So it's going to put the 9 on pit road. It looks like the 88's got some damage as well. And Corey Reed there in the 27, he's got quite a bit of front-end damage as well.
New Smyrna, decent track to go 3 wide, but Dylan, you call a lot of races up on the mainland, Antigonish, and your home track, dirt track. Do you clinch when you see 3 wide in the corners?
I do, and especially with I find with the pro stocks at Riverside, just because even 2 wide sometimes doesn't work, but at the dirt track, I've seen 4 wide occasionally. Oof. I'll tell you, though, the one race where I was clenching the entire time was during the Mike Stevens Memorial Weekend at Petty Raceway last year. We had a giant street stock race, and they were 4 wide in some corners for like 10 laps straight. I don't know how they all didn't wreck, but it was pretty incredible.
We've seen quite often coming out of the corners. Gets really tight coming out of turn 4 at Eastbound. Shoots are long, but really tight, almost like a hairpin, like Martinsville. But we got a neighbor coming in here tonight, Tim Terry, knocking on the door. What are you doing, Tim?
So far, so good. These top 3 are putting on a great show, and I think we're going to see a great finish. But I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret as we get ready to go back to green. I'm going to reach the halfway point. Nick Codner's kind of a little bit nervous here tonight, Mike. He was in the showcase last year, wants to be back there this year. Obviously, if he finishes behind Jason Gosse, second place would lock themselves into the showcase in this race. But him and Bob Hutchings, they both want it bad. So this is going to be a fairly interesting race. The young gun and the old dog. We'll see who ends up with the showcase spot, or maybe if something happens between the two of them, it might be somebody else.
Be careful with the old dog slings, because this cat's got some nice moves. I did get to speak to him earlier on today. Bob Hutchins was telling me about the setups in iRacing versus the real life setup in a car, and how he's been working with some of these teams, and sometimes he feels in the iRacing simulator is almost opposite of what he would do in real life. So going back to the old late models and dirt track cars, Bob's got a few tricks up his sleeve, but he's learning every race, he told me, and he's having a ball out here with these young guns. Bob goes all the way back quite many decades into the old dirt track racing here in Newfoundland and Labrador from Bishop Falls. So we'll see what he has for us as we get started. That is a nice clean start there from Jason Gosse. And look at that, Nick Codner tried to go too wide with him and stay to the top. They're trying to hold it together, as trying to kind of block that run from the 77 of Bob Hutchins, but he is a man on a mission right now, Dylan.
And he makes the pass cleanly around Nick Codner, but he's going to try and go for P1. As it is, he would advance to the TCM All Star Showcase coming up. And you heard Tim kind of stirring the pot there, and we mentioned earlier, Nick Codner, he almost won the All Star Showcase last year. He is not qualified. That's why he's in this race. Jason Gosse qualified last night, a late qualifier, so that's why he's still here. And it's pretty much a practice session for Jason, because he's going to be racing with the big boys coming up soon. And now here's another move there from Codner, trying to go on the outside, get a little stiff arm there from Bob Hutchings, kind of like a football player.
Codner had to lift there as it got really tight there, and it was either wreck or take it easy, as they are now past the halfway mark. 24 laps completed as we take a peek at Noah Healy and the 27 of Corey Reed going at it, as you see the 84 drop to the bottom now. Give him a good run. New paint scheme on the 84, looking sharp. Maybe a sneak peek of what the look will be for 2021 this year. Noah Healy in the Bandolero Series at Eastbound International. Corey Reed, 7-time. Now, I believe I'm correct this time. He corrected me there the other night. 7-time stock car champion here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So quite a few belts under his sleeve. Hoping to see the 27 at Eastbound this season, as we see the 84 kind of wash up the track, as we're seeing the leaders come through.
We are, and we're seeing Nick Codner drift back, and now Corey Reed has made the move around the 54. A little bit of damage on the 27, but hey, as long as the engine is cranking out some solid horsepower, go for it. And who knows, there could be another caution, which brings him closer to Bob Hutchings. Again, the 77 is in the transfer spot, but you can see the 54 Codner, he was not giving up. He's trying to make a challenge to the 27. Doesn't want to give up P3. That's just going to make it even harder for him to advance.
Yeah, it seemed like Codner, when he had to lift there, I don't know if he got into the back of Bob Hutchins there. It was kind of off the screen just a little bit, but it really upset the balance of that car, as that was a hard-running car for so many laps. But it seems like he's gotten it straightened out as he goes on full attack to the bottom here on the inside of the 27. They get close quarters, almost side drafting there, as the 54 Codner. Looking strong, but the 27 not going to give up that spot very easily here. Oh, the scrub!
What car handling, what manhandling by the 27. What a save by Corey Reed. Codner's going to try and fight his way on the outside. Now he makes the pass around Reed, but will Reed maybe give a little receipt to the number 54 if he gets close to him?
Well, the Reed boys go all the way back to the dirt track as well. Corey Reed's crew chief, Wally Reed, several years on the dirt. So I don't know if you want to throw that move that early with a scrub off the back bumper, because that could come back to haunt you in the last final couple of laps. But now that the 54 has cleared, he is building a bit of a bridge now on Corey Reed. Basically right now about 0.4 of a second as he tries to hunt down Bob Hutchins in the 77. Big gap right now between the two. Almost 4 seconds between the 54 and the 77 as they kind of check out. Hutchins trying to stick with the 41 of Jason Gosse. And if you're just tuning in, the 41 of Jason Gosse punched his ticket last night in the TCM Open. So he is already in the All Star Showcase, which will be coming up right immediately after this showcase. 250 laps will be on the board. The best of the best in Atlantic Canada as well as the United States. Dylan, it's going to be a wild night here tonight. So whoever comes in P2, if Jason Gosse finishes in first, will be punching their ticket as well tonight.
Yeah, going to be pretty sweet. Can't wait for that to kick off. And we can see a few cars just trying to scramble for anything they got. There's Chantal Pottle riding high up the track. A guy who's got to be laughing his way to the bank at this point. Not just Jason Gosse. He already qualified. But Bob Hutchins in the 77 cars. We're going to be going around. Oh, Phil Fowler almost crowded his space. I was saying he was going to be laughing. That may have been screaming if the 11 got into the 77. This is where you're going to be a bit careful. You can see the slower cars where now the 77 does get around him. Fowler's not giving up on the outside, and now he'll go down another position. He's already down a couple of laps here. 77 with 4 laps to go, looking pretty comfy in P2, which will throw him to the All-Star Showcase. He just hopes there's no cautions.
Well, Fowler right now coming off pit road, 22 laps down from that incident earlier with a lot of damage and some repairs. Right now, basically, he fresher tires a little bit quicker than the rest of the field as he probably has a fresh car after all that damage repair. So hence the little bit of a pressure there. I think it kind of spooked the 77 just a little bit. I'm sure they were talking back and forth on the Discord.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit of communication there, and with those new tires, just a lot of grip coming out of the corners. 2 laps to go in this eastbound little mini race before the All-Star Showcase kicks off. Jason Gosse, he's well out in front, getting a solid warm-up for tonight's big feature. He'll cross the start-finish line to collect the white flag, but we're keeping the eye on the 77, Mikey.
Yeah, 100%, and it looks pretty dominant that the 77 will finish here as the white rag is in the sky. Final lap, and Jason Gosse dominated with a 1.5 second advantage over Bob Hutchins, and it looks like 3-second gap on Nick Codner, so it's going to be Bob Hutchins, but checkers 2 nights in a row for Jason Gosse and the 41 team from DC Auto, the firefighter from Torbay, getting it done here tonight. He's already got his ticket, so Bob Hutchins from Bishop Falls, the 77, is going to get that ticket for the big All-Star TCM Showcase. Dude, we've been talking about this for weeks.
Look how
it's going to be wild. He is so stoked. I talked to him earlier. He was so upset about not getting the chance last night as he showed up a little bit late in the server, and he said he was going to get it done here tonight, and he does in P2, so he's going to be a strong contender in the TCM All-Star. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of time here. Paul, how much time do we got before we go into the main event for the 250?
Oh, we've got a few minutes here. The estimated start time is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, 8:30 Atlantic. I'm not sure what that is in your time, Mike. I know you guys are like an hour and a half off or something along those lines, but we got a few minutes to chat it up. We're going to see if we can maybe get some words in here with some of the drivers throughout. Just kind of waiting to see if anybody wants to come down to the booth and have a little chat ski with us.
Well, it's a great time to also all those tuning in tonight here on the channel to get into advancemytrack.com, vote, and get us into the final. The final 6 will be announced just after April 27th. We still got a couple weeks left of voting. 3 times daily you can get it done. The whole purpose of this, man, is a bit of cash for the track, $50,000 for improvements, but there's so much that comes with it. Once they announce the final 6, those 6 racetracks will be featured on Fox throughout the whole week of the Darlington week. So not only is it an opportunity for improvements for the track, but also high-profile positioning in on Fox and NASCAR Cup Series.
Can you imagine Clint Boyer going to Newfoundland?
Oh, dude, we're so screeching them in. You guys are going to have to come over for that. We're going to have a gravy train.
Oh, boy. Yeah, what a race there. Pretty cool to see Bob Hutchins advancing to this. And who knows, the way these TCM events can go, he could maybe be at the front by the end. And we saw that last year with Nick Codner, who almost won It was pretty wreck-filled, if I remember last year when we did this race, but things have settled out quite a bit, Mike.
Yeah, so Tim, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Nick Codner's in here, so if you want to grab the youngster for a couple of words here, we got about 25 minutes before the showcase starts.
Nick, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you guys. What's up?
You're probably a little bit disappointed there. Great run there at the beginning. It seemed like you kind of fell off just a little bit there. Was it? Did you happen to check up behind the 77? Was there contact there, or what transpired there?
I'm actually quite disappointed, honestly. Me and Bob have run clean the entire year, and he told me before it was wreckers or checkers or wreckers, and I knew he was going to race me hard, but I just I got the inside coming straight away, and he just come straight down on me, and it was either put it in the fence or lift, so I decided to lift, and kind of wrote the tail, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of off our screen there, so it was kind of confused why you were going back, and then it seemed like you gathered yourself up and tried to come back up there. So, really sorry to hear this news, but dude, you're always dominant in these iRaces, and we look forward to seeing more of this from you as you continue to progress in your iRacing career. Dude, anybody you want to thank tonight for getting the podium finish?
I'd like to thank my parents first off. We'll be able to do none of this without them, and DC Autos on the car, Winco Flags on our performance, and Jason getting 2 wins here. Hopefully he can go win the All Star race. I'm rooting for him for sure.
Are you going to be spotting for Gosse tonight? I know he's pretty stellar the last couple of nights.
No, I think I might go head off to sleep. I've had a long week in school for sure, being back in the building, and curling's been on the go here now, so I'm actually pretty tired.
Well, best of luck with your curling and everything else. Always a pleasure to call for you, Nick.
Thanks, guys. I don't think I'll be on any more of these end of the year, so I'd like to give a shout out to Tim and Eastbound, everyone, Vidane TV for putting these on. You guys do a fabulous job, and I can't wait to see you in the fall.
Oh, dude, we can't wait to get you back in the saddle and see what you bring. I got a funny feeling we're going to have an official series next season and see if you can get one of those iRacing championships.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night and have some fun in this big race coming up.
All right, 10-4. That's Nick Codner in the 54 team, the DC Auto from Torbay, Newfoundland and Labrador. A young gun with lots of talent, I can tell you. So always a pleasure to see him. Tim, I don't think we got a few drivers gun shy. We're not seeing Jason Gosse or Bob Hutchings right now, as I guess they're preparing for the big meet that's coming around the corner.
Yeah, I believe they're focused on getting some racing in here in a bit, and weather conditions are going to change a little bit. It's going to be a little bit later on in the afternoon, a little bit darker. The sky is still going to be day. It's just not going to be as day as it was last night. The 3 p.m. start in session compared to what we had before, so they're probably getting some laps in. So what we're going to do is, if you're watching us on the Vidane TV, Tim's Corner, Eastbound, you're going to go over and vote for Eastbound at advancemytrack.com if you haven't yet. But in the meanwhile, we are going to go to clips. We're going to see more of Dylan Langell. Everybody loves that. It's going to be, yeah, I know, he's surprised. We're going to go back to Monday night with the Tim's Corner Live episode 10 and have a little listen to Dylan Blankhorn. If you missed the interview on Monday night, you get to hear it one more time, and we will rejoin you in approximately 15 minutes. So you'll get a little snippet of that interview that we had, and then we will roll with the TCM All Star Showcase with the Pit Road TV heat races coming up at 8:30. So we'll see you in a bit. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on Vidane TV. Street. One of the best in the business when it comes to burnouts around Atlantic Canada, and we've got him here this evening on Tim's Corner Live. Welcome in to episode number 10. My name is Tim Terry. Dylan Langell, we know who he is, and Greg McKay does not have a hat on tonight, so if you need to adjust your monitors for any sort of reason, he is with us. Denver is off. He had a school project, so I know he's watching tonight, wishing he was there, but yeah, so we are, and we've got a small little, there we go, hold on here. All right, we love technology when it works. There we go, that works. You didn't do it yet. Not yet tonight. There's still 2 hours. Don't worry about it. Dylan, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. It was a busy weekend. Valley Raceway. You may or may not know that I'm the announcer there, and we're working on the 2021 season. We could have a little bit of a schedule change up coming up soon. So if you saw something on Facebook that may not be as completely valid as before, but with COVID, there's a lot of hoops we got to go through, the safety precautions. But I got to go to the Valley Raceway for the first time in almost 2 years yesterday. So it was pretty special being back at that track. Needs a little grooming. It looks a little sandy right now, but soon enough, hopefully in about a month and a half, we're going to be back there on May 30th for opening weekend. So pretty jam-packed with some racing, but we got 2 great guests tonight.
Yeah, so breaking news per se, eventually coming down the line. The master schedule on the Tim's Corner website launched last week. It does not have the Scotia Speed World schedule on it yet, but that did come out last week as well. So that's all new. And speaking about a guy that races at Scotia Speed World, we keep saying that between the 3 of us, Dylan and Denver, we usually have one feature winner, but I don't think a staff race counts as a feature win. At least we have a feature winner tonight here in Greg McKay. Welcome in. You got the rookie stripe on the last time, so you're excited. You're doing social again tonight. So how excited are you for this show? Oh, and Greg does not have his sound on. Again, there you go. We're doing well tonight.
All right, well, I didn't say anything worthwhile talking about last time, so it doesn't matter. But no, we'll see how it goes. It's monitoring multiple screens is sometimes harder than driving a race car. So
Well, you've done pretty well in the last couple of years driving the race car, and I know that's what you were talking about, the feature win. I know that's what you were talking about before the microphone was muted, so we'll just leave it at that.
It's better if people don't hear, so yeah.
Well, there you go. We are live and interactive tonight. Drop us a comment on Facebook, whether you're watching on the Maritime Pro Stock Tour or Tim's Corner Motorsports. We've got some great guests tonight. Sam Rogers is going to be joining us a little bit later on, but without further ado, let's bring on our first guest, because I know everybody's been waiting for this one. Well requested. Guest on this show, and it's the driver of the number 67 on the Maritime Pro Stock Tour and Maritime Pro Stock Tour champion. And we'll get ready to throw some B-roll up, and you know who it is. It's Dylan Blankhorn, driver of the number 67. We'll change some cameras around here, and we'll get the champ on, and we'll do some chatting about some racing. And from Truro, Dylan, how are you doing tonight?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Great night. You're in the shop at Auto World, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yep. Want to thank you guys for coming on board as well with Tim's Corner Motorsports. It's been a busy off season for you. It's a little bit of a longer off season. You didn't get Black Betty behind you on the racetrack. So how's the winter and how's the COVID season been for you?
It's surprisingly pretty good for car sales. people have nothing to do, so they're still out and about actually right now, surprisingly, in Nova Scotia anyway. But the service center is starting to get pretty busy and starting to think about race cars now.
Tire changing, everything else. You guys have been busy on the business side, at least over the COVID period, because you moved what used to be Auto Right down into the same building on Roby Street. So business is great. They can find you on Roby Street. If anything, they need a vehicle, they need service on the vehicle. I need tires, so I'm going to be up in the next week or so anyway. But
you needed tires about probably 8 months ago.
I need all the help that I can get. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk about the season, I guess, because you didn't get racing last year. You guys were ready, almost loaded up to go to Hickory when the COVID pandemic hit. So what's it been like for you kind of watching on the sidelines? There was only 2 Maritime Pro Stock Tour races. There was a couple of Pro Stock races in New Brunswick, but how was it like for you kind of sitting on the sidelines, at least on the Pro Stock side of things?
It's definitely different. As everyone knows, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And it was a long time coming to finally get the championship. So honestly, it took probably 3 or 4 months for me to catch my breath. As the season wound down, I was in the shop 24/7, you could say, just making sure. I was making sure there was nothing going to go wrong with the car. The whole team we really kind of just stepped up and as you know, it takes a lot. takes a lot out of you. And we did that, and then we were at a small shop in Lower Truro. We had 3 guys with us, and decided to make the move to kind of the main drag in Truro, and started added the addition of selling the car sales on, and it took a lot of time to get everything going. And fortunately, I was allowed. Lonnie asked me to help a few times, so I got out to the track a few times. But it's just you don't realize how much pressure you put on yourself, and the competition level, I guess you could say, that it takes to run up front in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. So it was definitely it's definitely nice not going to the racetrack and spending your own money, and helping out somebody else. That was nice. But the guys, we all missed it, and definitely everyone's pretty eager to get back to the racetrack.
We are live and interactive here this evening. Be sure to drop us a comment or a question for the 2019 Pro Stock Tour champion. I guess we'll start there and maybe go backwards. You mentioned that championship being so big. You guys have strived for that for many years. How much of a relief was it to go to Halifax, have that little bit of a lead, and then be able to take away that win? Because that race was wild at the end of it, because there was a wreck with like 10 laps to go. Everybody was on pins and needles. What was it like to finally wrap up that championship, even with the little bit of drama in that last race?
I mean, I'm always a pretty calm and cool race car driver, but I didn't take a breath until I saw the checker flag and we crossed it. So, like I said, it was a long time coming. It seems like we were pretty close a lot of years, and it's just one of them things. It just felt like we were never gonna achieve it, and it just made it that much more special. My Sheldon, he started kind of getting sick there that summer, so I really wanted to do it for him and then the team, and he got to see it. So yeah, but I usually stay pretty calm, but I don't think I said much in the radio that race. I know Wade was trying to just get me through the race, get me through the last 15 laps, and I remember it was the last 15 laps. It felt like we ran 300 laps, but it was pretty special to see the checker flag and finally get that for all the guys.
And I mean, when you look at the last few years prior to that too, you had some close calls when it came to racking up wins, obviously, but maybe not necessarily the whole points picture. I think back to I think it was 2 or 3 years before that, you and Cole put on a hell of a show at Oyster Bed, going back and forth, and it wasn't the greatest point night, but it was a hell of a show. Did the mindset change in those couple of years leading up to 19 about points racing, not necessarily going for the win every single week?
Gee, I get asked that question so much in the last 5-6 years, and I mean, as a competitor and a race car driver, you don't show up to run third or fourth or to have a good points night. You show up to get the trophy and the checker flag, but it's always in the back of your mind. It's a lot. You put a lot of pressure on yourself, when you have to, you have to run good, or you have to try to get as many points, leave the night with as many points as possible. And so, John, he ran good that year. It was tough, but it seemed like everything just clicked. I mean, I know we had a few things happen, like we had a halfway through the season, I think we had a pop rivet go through a tire, but we finished the race with 10 pounds in the right front tire. And if that would have happened on lap, 60 or 75, it might have been a different story, right? So it's just kind of everything clicked, and it takes a lot of luck too. But I'm a big believer in, you gotta win the race at the shop. So like I said, everyone kind of stepped up, and I spent, I don't know how many nights I spent in the shop, and kind of took it, tried to leave the Smirnoff Ice in the fridge, and the beer in the fridge, and everyone took it pretty serious. And yeah, that's what it takes. I tell you, like I said, it just seems like it hasn't been 2 years. It seems like it's still, we're leaving. Seems like it's been last season, but just time flies.
With everything COVID wise, it almost like it was last season because there was only 2 Maritime Pro Stock Tour races last year. We're live and interactive. Drop us a comment, drop us a question if you have any for Dylan Blankhorn, the champion. Drop them below and we'll get them on. Greg, is there anything on social yet tonight?
I got one here, just one. I mean, I was expecting to be blown off my feet here.
They're keeping it easy on you tonight, I guess.
Apparently, yeah. The last one was stressful. We're going to see Black Betty at the Mike Stevens this year.
Yeah, well, no, that's a pretty special race for a few reasons, but yeah, no, that's always a fun event, and yeah, we'll be there, hopefully holding the checker flag at the end of the night.
And don't be shy. If you're watching us, drop us a comment. Let us know where you tuned in from. Hit that share button. Let your friends know that you're watching some bench racing here on a Monday night with the champion, Dylan Blankhorn. And we talked about the championship. Let's talk about those wins, because you do have a win in the Mike Stevens Memorial. You have an IWK 250 victory. You have a Halifax 250 win. You've got the River Glade International. Is there anything else on the bucket list that you need to do as a pro stock driver to make it complete? Because it seems like you're checking off all the boxes here pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. Terry and I were talking about that tonight. He asked if I'm going to make the truck down to Fredericton for the 250, and we only went down there once. It's a tough place. The guys that have it figured out, they really got it figured out, and it's a tough place to get around. I always found with a lot of people don't know this, but usually during a race I get to take 5 or 6, 7 gravel to so I don't get sick. And I got wristbands I wear. I have motion sickness pretty bad, and I find that place it's just you're always turning, and it's just you can't take a break, and it's physically demanding. And I can run good there for a short period of time and can never get in a rhythm. I always get in my head, and it's a tough place. And I know, you gotta go to the place to get better at it. But we haven't been a whole lot. The tour doesn't go there anymore, so it's tough to get good there. But I think we're gonna. It's a long track. It's a long truck down there, especially this summer. It's gonna be pretty busy. I checked off a few races that we're gonna go to, but that one is we're definitely gonna go to that one this year. It'd be nice to try to do the Triple Crown, and it's definitely not checked off on the list of races. So we'll go down there and hopefully get Betty running good and go see what we can do down there. But like I said, it's been tough. It's a tough racetrack.
And there's only been one that's been able to do that Triple Crown, and it's Cassius Clark. And it just happened here a couple of years ago. There's a lot of drivers with 2. What would it mean to go up there, especially with what you just mentioned, and try to get that Triple Crown and try to complete the sweep?
It would check off all the boxes. It would be it'd almost be, it'd feel like it'd be complete. Then I'd have to go south then.
And I know you guys were looking at Hickory. You guys had the car ready, almost loaded up, ready to go, and then the pandemic hit. So for those that might be asking, when are you going to make that trek down south? You've done it before with Legend Cars. You've been to internationals before. If the border reopens again, do you have anything on your bucket list? Would the Easter Bunny 150 be one of those that you're looking back at again? Has that thought even crossed the mind since the pandemic started?
It has. The whole point of putting kind of everyone together and going down was because we knew we were going to come down and move to a new location and probably be down here. It's going to take a few years to get it off the ground, and we're going to go down and run a few races, run 2 or 3 races. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And I mean, in the cards for this year, it's not in the cards, but But you know, in the next few years, I'd like to do it for sure. But it's the time and money and it's hard to you know, I can't really take a week off and go racing, right? I have more responsibilities now, and unfortunately, taking a week off and go racing isn't in the cards.
I know we got a couple of questions rolling in on social. Was able to take a look on the other shoulder. We'll let Greg in here in a bit, but I know Brian Acker was asking, how's your father and how's the ankle? How's the leg doing? Because he took that fall at the 250 a couple of years ago. How's he doing?
Yeah, man, and I look up to that guy. He's had a tough go still. He had his last surgery. He had a surgery, didn't heal properly. So it kind of set it back a few more months, and of course with COVID and it's just hard to schedule like the surgeries, right? So, and kind of working around everything, and probably I'm thinking a month and a half ago he had one last surgery, and it's supposed to fix it. So he's still hobbling around though, using a scooter and stuff. It's going to be 2 years almost, right? So he should be. I think he's allowed to put weight on in about a month's time, but you know, he's still doing it. He was out, and you know, we took the Jeeps out on Saturday, and he still does everything. It doesn't hold him back, but no, definitely a strong guy for dealing with that and not letting him affect you know, anything else. So, but you know, he'll be up and at it this summer for sure.
Hard to keep a good man down. Greg McKay, what's going on social?
I'm impressed with the quality of questions that are coming in right now. We're getting into it now. Jordan,
good.
Vino,
They needed to work you, right?
Yeah, they took the cue. Jordan Vino wants to thank you for schooling him on restarts in the past. I'm assuming that with Jordan being in a pro stock next year, that might continue. Craig Rogers.
Jordan's a really good race car driver. I like trying to get into people's heads.
Yeah, by the look of the comment, you got into his head.
Sorry, Jordan.
Craig Rogers wants to know if your patience and thought process and always thinking ahead on the track is coached or natural.
Oh, geez. Louise.
Leave it to Craig Rogers, right?
Yeah, trying to stump the man.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely, you know, I had probably two of the best role models a guy could have. You know, my father and grandfather, I you know, always worked alongside them, but they both have tempers, so I don't know. I don't know. I never. I mean, and as far as everyday life, I mean, geez, I lose my temper all the time, throw things, and so I just when I put my helmet on, it's just I kind of just zone out and just gotta, you know, I know just gotta get the job done.
Half a dozen gravel would do that to you, I guess. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I gotta start popping the gravel every morning.
That could be Dylan's advice for new drivers.
But knocking fenders off a race car don't win races. So yeah, that's a good question, Craig.
And
peace.
Mark Maxwell's curious.
Track here or something like that?
About 10 or 15 years ago, they built a dirt track, got people interested in racing.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Newfoundlanders and Labradorians the opportunity to get into the higher level NASCAR. It's basically set the stage for anybody who want an opportunity to become professional. People that didn't even know where Avondale was to at one point, and now it's recognized all over North America.
Growing up, my family and everyone around me, I always loved racing and watched it a lot. So naturally, I always started watching it and I just went forward a bit more and I just ended up progressing to racing at Eastbound. Racing gives me the confidence to say I can do something that I put my mind to, and I can do this, and I can succeed at what I want.
Strong brothers. Well, I hope you got your business done in between races. It's time for the big show. Welcome to the TCM All Star Showcase 250, brought to you by our friends at Pit Road TV, the Laker News, and Fitzpatrick Cars. We're back after a little Eastbound showdown, a little mini race to find the last qualifier. Bob Hutchings, he has moved on, and Mike James from Eastbound Park. We're getting ready for 250 laps here, but we got some heat races to line up the field, and we're kicking off with the TCM Weekly Racing Series champion just last week, Brett Suggs on P1. Ryan Matthews in the 051 going to be starting in his outside. Mikey?
Well, it's going to be the big dogs here tonight. It's almost like going back to the NHL days of the All-Star, Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. So all the top dogs of Atlantic Canada, United States are in this one. Row 2 is going to be the 83 of Chris Roma and Justin I'm going to get this
Collison?
right. Collison. Not Collision.
I was the one calling him Collision. I don't know if Johnny Two Belts is in here. John Peters doesn't look like he's on the screen yet. Tam Woolridge, Jason Gosse, who qualified last night, and Brandon Campbell finishing off this first heat race. We're going to have 3 coming up, 25 laps apiece. All drivers are advancing to the 250-lap race coming up. This is just setting your position, and we've got some of the best up in front, including the 33, Brett Suggs, who didn't win a race last season with a TCM Weekly Racing Series, but he was consistent. He was Mr. Consistency, winning that track championship. Chris Roma and that red number 83 trying to move up as best as he can. We've got some great side-by-side racing all around the track.
These guys have not given up an inch in the front row. Brett Suggs, Ryan Matthews, how this race had started 3 laps ago. And as we see a car off the pace, that's Brandon Campbell going hard into the wall. We stay green here as they does get it up. The 99 does fall back in line as we continue to go green. But man, oh man, we finally break free of that battle on the front row. Ryan Matthews, your new leader, he is now taking control, but Suggs back on the attack.
Yeah, he'll fall back a little bit. It's setting your position, but you definitely want to be starting at the front. And we'll have 2 more heat races coming up. And then we race for 250 laps to find another All-Star Showcase winner. Ryan Messer was the last All-Star Showcase winner back in 2020 when we finished off the iRacing season. And tonight we're finishing off another session of iRaces before we dive deep into some real racing, hopefully real soon. May 15th is the big kickoff weekend in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Mike, I believe Eastbound's not too far after that, but a lot of great racers. They're working on their cars in real life, but tonight they're in the simulator or just on the steering wheel to try and win a little money, courtesy of Pit Road TV and the Laker News and Fitzpatrick Cars.
Well, I can guarantee you there's about a couple of hundred garages throughout the Maritimes and Atlantic Canada and all throughout the United States actually tuning into this race as some of the best racers that we've seen throughout this full pandemic, throughout the whole year, are going to get it done here tonight. So precious position here in these heat races, because you do not want to be starting rear to the tail and try to come up through, because I don't think these guys are going to give up very much, as we do see a little bit of a battle here at the front. Ryan Matthews and Brett Suggs. Can you imagine starting in the tail on this one tonight?
It'd be a pretty tough one, but we did see strange things the last All-Star Showcase race we had. It was a wreck fest by the end. I think we did that back in June, right before the Atlantic bubble opened up for the first time, which seems like ages ago, which we are creeping up to a year before. Dylan Langell from Riverside Speedway, Valley Raceway, in the heart of a champion Hot Rod Classics. Mike James from Eastbound Park, and our good buddy Paul Showtime Strickland Jr., the replay man. He's in a replay booth, and I think we'll have to use him a couple of times. And, of course, Tim Terry, the guy putting this all together, can't thank him enough for a lot of fun on iRacing. Paige Drake also helping out in the officials booth tonight. So a lot of helping hands making the show. And, of course, thank you for tuning in tonight on Vidane TV or TCM or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. And thank all the drivers, too, right, Mike? I mean, these guys and girls, they've been doing the simulating racing all winter since racing wrapped up last October. The pandemic here in Atlantic, Canada, and the States and everywhere really has been a little up and down. And there's been a lot of time to do the simulating racing, but a lot of time to also work on the cars for the upcoming season.
Yeah, these guys are definitely going to have a stout season because this is probably the most time any of these drivers have ever spent in a simulator. You can only imagine how much sharper they're going to be as, this is a very fine-tuning skill. These guys really know how to get it done. Dylan, I don't know if you've actually stepped into this simulator, but it's not easy. I know I had a tough time getting around Nashville in Phil Fowler's simulator, and I got to give props to these guys. After a full year of race or announcing these guys and then finally trying it out myself, man, it's just incredible what these guys get done, and as well as some of the girls like Chantel Pottle and so on. So exciting to see what happens. All of the drivers here tonight have qualified either by winning a race or some other reason for becoming an all-star here tonight. So you got the best of the best going to be vying tonight for the big win. 250 laps, that's probably one of the biggest ones we've had this year as well.
Yeah, the biggest race we had was the Jim Hallahan 333 back in October, but this is a big one. And, Mike, actually, there's a place in Dartmouth just across the harbor here in Halifax. They now have a simulation shop, a place where you can race with the simulator. So I got to get there before the real racing season kicks off. I got to get myself in one of those sim rigs to try it out and see how bad I am. I mean, I've been here in the spare bedroom announcing pretty much for about a year, Mike. I think that I'm coming up on a year of doing the iRacing announcing. This is when it really started to kick off here. When this time last year, there was a lot of unknowns. What if I can even talk, Mike? What was going to happen with the pandemic? See, it all stutter stuff. There was just a lot of unknowns,
These guys have been crafting their skill, but also for like someone like myself and you. And once we get to the real racetrack, I can only imagine how pumped we are going to be. We probably ran just as many races on the call as the last couple of years in real life racing. So it's going to be exciting to get back to the real racetrack. I know you're going to be busy on the dirt track as well as Ed Nish moving around. But myself at Eastbound International Speedway, we got drag racing and the Speedway to contend, and we got 27 events. So I'm going to be pretty busy throughout this whole summer as we get things going. May 24th weekend right up to October. So I know all those drivers that are tuning in tonight, give us a shout out on our Facebook feed or YouTube. Let us know who you're cheering, and maybe even send up a picture or a selfie in your garage with the rest of the boys, and let us know where you're watching and tuning in tonight for the big all-star race.
Yeah, the busy season ahead of us. If all goes well, Mike, I'm going to be racing starting off at Speedway Miramichi on May 15th. If the Atlantic Bubble's open, that's kind of up in the air at this point, but if all works out, I may be behind the steering wheel for the first race. And then Valley Raceway, we open up May 30th, and there's a lot of promising stuff coming up. Just hopefully everything smooths out numbers-wise, and we can get back to some sort of normalcy, kind of like last summer. And we're finishing off this first Pit Row TV heat race with Ryan Matthews getting away from Brett Suggs. They were on the front row to kick this off, and he's charging down the front stretch to collect the white flag. One more to go in heat race number one. Again, all drivers are going to be qualifying for tonight's 250-lap main event. This is just going to throw the 51 up in front, and Ryan Matthews, he's going to come around turn 3 and 4. He's going to get the second checkered flag of the evening. We already saw Jason Gosse win the Eastbound race. 51 wins. Ryan Matthews will collect the checkers.
Well, Ryan Matthews will get the Pit Road TV pole position. He'll be in P1, I believe, as we continue on with the heat race and see who's going to start on the outside. But precious real estate for Brett Suggs, Chris Roma, Tanton Woolridge, and Jason Gosse, Justin Collison, and Brandon Campbell is your top 7. John Peters not making it in time. Hopefully he can make it to the rear of the field once we get set. But going right into the next heat race, Dylan, we are set, and look who's on this one. Man, there's some really stout drivers in this one. Keith McClellan, Daddy Mac, the Bud Light machine on front row, the 30 machine. He's going to have Joey Stiers to the outside in the 23.
Mikey Alexander in the 75, starting third in row number 2. And the guy literally just made the race mere moments ago, Bob Hutchings in the 17 car. He's starting fourth.
And row number 3, one of my favorites, a.k.a. the Bubble Man. That's the 36 of Noel Fougier. He's the announcer, or the anthem singer up in your neck of the woods. He's going to have Ryan Messer, who is a race winner from last June, the first All Star Showcase. So Ryan Messer trying to go for a repeat tonight in the 1.
Rational Richard Drake looking to cap off a successful iRacing campaign. He's in the 141 starting 7th. And Dustin Mumbercat, the driver who had the most wins in the TCM All Star, or the TCM Weekly Racing Series just last week, he's starting in the 8th position. Speaking of TCM, Tim, you've barged in here. What do you want?
Have you guys covered the Back of the Pack Challenge presented by Pit Road TV?
We have not.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
Cheap race winner has the option. They're going to win $10 anyways, whatever happens. They have the option of going to the back of the field, each of the 3 heat winners. The top finishing heat winner of those that go to the back of the field will double their purse money at the end of the night. So if you go to the back of the field, you come back to win, you win $200 tonight. Our first heat winner, Ryan Matthews, has accepted the Back of the Pack Challenge. So go to the back of the field. So we have at least one. We'll see who gets Heat 2 and Heat 3 here and see if anybody wants to join Mr. Matthews.
There is no way I'd go to the back on that one.
Very rarely does it work out, I find. Green flag is out for Mac Daddy, Mr. Perfect, Keith McClellan, and we've already got Mike Alexander, Bob Hutchings going for the same real estate. Hutchings lets off the gas as he was almost underneath the 23 of Joey Stiers. Bob, if you were catching us a little earlier, made the race by finishing second in the Eastbound 35. Oh, no! Huge wreck. Bob Hutchings loose at a turn 4, collects the 75. Noel Fougier, Ryan Messer, caution out on lap number 2.
Tic-tac-toe. That's going to bring in Paul Showtime Strickland. Take us back, bro.
Got another Kong Beer Bong instant replay here on the evening, and we're going to focus in here on the number 17 of Bob Hutchings. Just looks like that thing got away from him. Here you can see him coming out of the corner and just out of shape. Collects the 75 of Alexander, the 1 of Messer, the 36 of Noel Fougier as well. A couple of big hits. It's a good thing these guys, once they get into the feature here, they are going to have a brand new race car, which is good news for these guys back here. And as we made mention, everybody is making a 250 here tonight. So just kind of going for some qualifying and trying to find themselves a little bit better starting position here.
Hutchins just made 3 best friends. Sort of like the Hangover.
He's already at 4. We know Nick Codner is a good buddy of him, right?
Yeah, it was a wild ride for the qualifier just earlier on. So we'll see what happens in this one as we're in heat race number 2. You're just tuning in. Big shout out to Pit Road TV for presenting the heat race and qualifying, and also putting up a few extra bucks here tonight for that challenge. So we've already got one challenge. The pole position winner, Ryan Matthews, will be going to the tail to pick up some extra cash. But Dylan, I don't know about you. We've seen some of these big races, and this is going to be a tough night to come up through the field. But then again, Pit Road is going to be really busy under this 250 laps right here at New Smyrna. Half mile. I don't know, Dylan, have you actually visited the real New Smyrna in Florida?
Never been. I would love to. But with tonight's race, Mike, these drivers will have 3 sets of tires. 1 set will be on the car, of course. So 2 sets in the pits. Gonna have to be a couple pit stops, I imagine. There's no way you're gonna be able to stretch the fuel 250 laps. You may be able to get away with 1 set of tires if there's a lot of cautions. The fuel game is gonna be interesting, and with TCM iRacing events, we've seen a few drivers run out of gas towards the end, and we've also seen the leaders run out of gas after they try and stretch the fuel, but just you stretch it too far and you're not able to finish.
Well, we're going to get set to go back as the lights are out on the official iRacing pace car. As they bring around through 3 and 4, it's going to be Keith McClellan in the 30 and the 23 of Joey Stiers to get things going. Look at Rational Richard now coming up into that P3. He's going to be just biting at the bit to get on it right now. As we get back to green flag, you see Daddy Mac come all the way to the outside to block that run, and he is dominating right now. But the big battle right now, the 141 of Rational Richard on the bottom of the 16 of Dustin Mombercat.
Yeah, Rational Richard's a great, clean racer, and he's just trying to maneuver around the 16. Dustin Mombercat, how about him going from the back to the front nearly? He's charging his way through. He's a driver from Ontario, if you're not too familiar. He really impressed me in the weekly racing series at Nashville. And, oh, brother, we're going 3 wide on turn 4. Oh, hang on, friends, they do. What a maneuver.
What a save from Rational Richard and the rest of the field as Noel Fougere kind of checks up there as they kind of fall off a little bit there. But now back on the hammer again, the 141 of side by side with the 16 of Dustin Mombercat, but advantage to the 23 of Joey Stiers as that got real sticky coming into turn 2, 3 wide, but now Rational Richard coming off the pace and now gets across the front bumper of the 36, but kind of saves it. Oh, now the 36 of Fougere's going to go for a ride, and he's hard into the turn 3. We are going to see that caution, but oh baby,
yeah, no kidding. What a wreck.
Yeah, these guys, man, they were wrecking for almost an entire lap there, and it finally gets collected here with the 141 of Rational Richard Drake and the 36 of Noel Fougere. Going to take a peek at it here on the Kong Beer Bong Instant Replay, and you can see there's the initial contact between the 141 and the 36, and right off the nose of the 36, gets up into the wall, up on 2 tires, as he tries to collect it to make contact once again. And there you can see Ryan Messer getting a little bit of a piece of it, but easy enough for me to say. Noel Fougere in the 36 taking the bigger hit of that.
Big hit. But the thing is, these drivers are going to have a new car for the 250 lap race, so that they got time here to wreck a few times.
Now look at that pit road right now. Mike Alexander down 4 laps. I guess he's sitting there for the rest of this one. He's going to be at the tail for qualifying here now. So he's got a lot of work ahead of him. The 75 Mike Alexander been dominant through a lot of these TCM events. So it'll be interesting to see what he has. So he will not have the choice of choosing to go to the back. Looks like he'll be starting to scratch it to the rear.
The way she goes. I'm going to be using that quote from Trailer Park Boys a lot, but that's the way it can go sometimes in racing.
The way she. Sounds kind of Newfoundlandish.
The way she goes.
She. Yes, everything's a she.
That's all good. It's all good. But yeah, we're getting ready for some big racing. The last big iRace before we dive into the real racing season. I just can't stress enough, Mike. I'm so excited to get back to the racetrack. I was at Valley Raceway on Sunday. We had a meeting about the schedule. If you haven't noticed, a schedule change with Valley Raceway. We're going to be racing back-to-back weekends a couple of times. Things we're changing with the times as we're going through the pandemic and also trying to cooperate with some other racetracks. We want the drivers to be able to go to here and there and experience the beautiful province of Nova Scotia. So check us out on Facebook, and I was at the track for the first time in almost 2 years, Mike. It was pretty special being back there. My first track, announcing at. Can't wait to get back there again.
Well, everybody's kind of biting at the bit, and I know the shops are very busy as I've gotten a few messages here. A couple of boys watching in tonight. Thanks for tuning in. It is Mike James here from Eastbound International, Dylan Langell, and big thank you to Pit Road TV for presenting these heat race qualifiers. Lights are out on the official pace car. We are getting set to come back on the 15th lap. Past the halfway, it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. 9 to go here.
Yeah, and Dustin Mombercat's a fast son of a gun, showing it so far in heat race number 2, thanks to Pit Road TV. Will he be a guy to potentially take a little challenge as he's the fastest car on the track, or will Keith McClellan decide to go to the back? I think we asked him that question before, Mike, if he would ever decide to go back, and he said not a chance. If he's up front, he wants to stay up front.
We're having a peek right now with Noel Fougere in the 36 and the 17. Bob Hutchins up on the backstretch wall. He's going to fall off and give up that position to the 36. A little loosey-goosey coming out of turn 4 for the 36 as he tries to get up on that front stretch wall, gain a little bit of speeds. We're having a peek right now at the 1 of Ryan Messer. He is your race winner, all-star winner. That's about 10 months ago. This past June, the first TCM All Star race. So we'll be keeping an eye on him as he is now mid-pack P4. Not a bad spot to start the big 250, but he's still got a bit of time. 6 to go. Here's to come down the back stretch, coming into 3 and 4. This is a wild half-mile track, one of my favorites in North America, just outside of Daytona. Get to see this during Speed Weeks. The ARCA Series runs there now. So many great race events. So I know Pit Road TV spends a bit of time here, so I would love to have Tony on the broadcast here tonight to fill us in some of his wild stories of New Smyrna.
Oh, yeah, one of the most legendary tracks in Florida and America. Solid racing all the time. Love watching all the old videos, and we can see on the video Dustin Mumbercat putting a challenge for P1. Keith McClellan in the 16er, door handle to door handle, going to turn 1. Mumbercat makes a clean pass, and we're going to see a crossover from the 30 Bud Light machine. 16 checking out completely.
I love how you dropped the but still plenty of a go as McClellan just dives into turn 3 and 4 and really picks up a lot of real estate. I don't think this battle is over as Keith McClellan probably wanted to save something here as we got 3 to go here. Down the backstretch, the 30 chasing the 16 of Mumbercat into 3 and 4. Boy, does he look good coming into turn 3.
Yeah, McClellan about a car length and a half behind the 16. 2 laps to go here at New Smyrna. Heat race number 2 thanks to Pit Road TV, and the 30's making it a race. He's making a try and get back up in front. And this will set up another pole challenge for one of these drivers with a chance to double their money. Who doesn't like doubling their money? White flag is in the air for Dustin Mumbercat, a driver who won 4 times in Nashville with the weekly racing series. But Keith McClellan all over the bumper, half a car length, drifts back a bit. Willie dives super deep into turn 3, watching the 30. Can he reel him in? He's close, but no cigar. Dustin Mumbercat's going to win the second heat race in New Smyrna.
I think right there, the 30 just did not want to risk it. Giving up that one position in the pole. So, unfortunately, he just couldn't get it done there at the end. But Dustin Mumbercat looking really quick out there. Fastest lap time of the night, 18:17 on that one. But no messing around here, Dylan. We are getting set for Pit Road TV's heat race number 3. And it's going to be Brad Eddy on the pole with this one, and as well as one of our favorites, the 34, Mike Rhino, making up front row.
Danny Chisholm in the 87 car. I know the family's certainly watching. Ashton Tucker on his outside. 2 young guns in row 2.
Row number 3, the 89, Conrad Murphy, not yet checked in with us. Hopefully he can make it in time. He'll have Craig Tully in the 5 to the outside. Completing the field, the 97, Riley Duncan to the rear.
Timmy?
Mumbercat has accepted the Pit Road TV Back of the Pack Challenge, so that puts him and Ryan Matthews to the back of the field for the start of this one. So realistically, if the third heat winner here does not take the challenge, they would start on the pole. Theoretically, with the way that usually works.
That's an offer right there. Can you refuse it though? You got a choice of, hey, listen, the other 2 guys refused the pole. They want to try and make some money. Here's an opportunity to start up front. What would you do, Mike?
Not happening with this lineup. There's no way I'd give up that pole. I've been to a lot of races, the Governor's Cup, many speed weeks down at New Smyrna, and I can tell you, one of the greatest battles I've ever seen at this track was Ty Majeski and Harrison Burton, and I can tell you, if you don't qualify at New Smyrna with some of the stout drivers, even in this race, it is very difficult to win a race here at New Smyrna, as this is going to get tight. We're going to see a lot of 2-wide racing, but I can tell you, if I had the pole here, I'd be taking it to the bank.
Just looking through this field, look at all the young talent and drivers. Big year. I know Ashton Tucker's getting his number 2 machine, Brad Silica Racing, for the Pro Stock Tour and the races in New Brunswick. Danny Chisholm's got a new legend car right here. Conrad Murphy, I believe, is going to be back in the 89 4-cylinder. Not sure what Brad's plans are completely. He did a little pro stock and sportsman racing last year. I figure we see him at the track once or twice coming up in 2021. Green's in the air for Brad Eddy in the 72. 87, Danny Chisholm right behind him. And Mike Rhino, a driver who has entered his way after dominating a race in Nashville. He's in P2. And again, all drivers tonight are racing 250 laps, or at least they're going to attempt to race 250 laps. Who knows? There could be a big wreck on lap 1.
Well, right now we're taking a peek at 87 of Danny Chisholm, but further back now it's the 89 of Conrad Murphy and the 5 of Tully going at it. And now Riley Duncan trying to get some action on the outside. That outside line kind of work here at New Smyrna in the early parts, but now there's a bit of a tag. Riley Duncan into the back rear quarter of the 89, but they stay green here, managed to save it there. A little bit of contact with the front stretch wall for the 97. No harm, no foul, but another battle brewing at the front. The 87, Danny Chisholm now trying to make a move on the 34 of Mike Rhino, and it looks like he can get it done as he does have the advantage coming into turn 1 and 2, but Rhino does not go away as they drag race down the backstretch.
Yeah, Danny was on the apron a little bit there, so he is side by side with Mike Rhino, and Tucker, I would probably say the standout pro stock driver from 2020, looking for a giant 2021. Ooh, Danny boy! Slamming right into the 34 car. Gets the 34 a little loose. Here's a charge now from Danny Chisholm on the bottom. Danny's again in the 87 car. Mike Rhino, 34. And it's a three-way dance for P2. Make it a fatal four-way because here comes Craig Tully.
Seen so many side-by-side battles here at New Smyrna, and this is just a foreshadow of what we're going to expect tonight. Lots of action as we've seen a lot of throughout the season at Oxford Plains as well as Nashville. But the New Smyrna is going to have a treat for all of our fans here tuning in as Danny Chisholm will lose that battle to the 34, but he continues to go back on the attack. Just earlier on coming into turn 1, the 87 lost a bit of momentum there, a little wobble there, and opened the door for the 34 to come back on. But still hard charging the 87, and Chisholm is not going to give up, and it's going to be a little bit of a pester for the 34 as Mike Rhino tries to hold him off here with eight laps completed. Still plenty of time in this one.
Danny's been sticking his nose underneath the 34 car, going real low. At least he did the previous lap at a turn 4, and he gets a nice little run at a turn 4 now on the back bumper of Mike Rhino. And you can see the number 2, Ashton Tucker, trying the middle line here in New Smyrna. Craig Tully right behind him. Brad Eddy, he's checked out completely. He is running away in heat race number 3 thanks to Pit Road TV. And here comes Danny Chisholm again. Going to try and really wedge out the 34 and maybe take a higher line and mess up the car. There could be some rubber in that area which could dirty up the tires and make the car not as efficient as it truly can be. But Chisholm again falls back. He seems to be really good in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 seems to be better for the 34 at the moment.
Another wobble there in the front stretch from the 80. Kind of oversteering it coming out of turn 4 and really upset the balance of the 87, but that's going to open the door for the 34 to get a little bit of breathing room. But the 87 looking good coming into turn 3, picks up a lot of that real estate and now tries to get back to the battle on that 34. These guys are putting on a show for all the fans at home as we hit the cross flags here, and we are halfway to this heat race number 3.
If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, tell your friends to tune in because it's going to be a jam-packed 250-lap feature coming up here to cap off this part of iRacing with TCM. Been a blast since last April, been a blast since we resumed things in October with iRacing. But man, oh man, we're going to go out with a bang tonight, and there could be a couple of bangs, maybe a crash and maybe a spin, and we're going to find a big winner. Could we have another All Star Showcase repeat? Maybe Ryan Messer will go 2 for 2 in this event. Maybe we'll have a complete wild card, someone who you wouldn't expect to win. Expect the unexpected in racing.
Well, tonight we're going to do our best. Myself and Dylan here will be trying to follow all of the battles because I can tell you it's not just going to be one. We're seeing one major battle right now with the 34 and 87, but once we get into the 250 and the full lineup gets out there, I got a funny feeling we're going to be all over this track.
Yeah, we're going to be, our eyes are going to be scrambled. We're going to be like having like a big headache after the race. Here comes Danny on the bottom. He's, again, just really good in turn 3 and 4. Just not as good in 1 and 2. At least he hasn't been, and he washes up the track and makes a little bit of a contact, a little bit of a touch there on the 34, Mike Rhino. 16 in, Brad Eddy is leading. I know we're not focusing on him too much because this battle here, we're going double wide for 2 rows. Craig Tully now underneath the number 2. Now he falls back behind Ashton Tucker. What a battle. I mean, this again is a little preview, a little taste of what's coming up with our 250-lap main event. Chisholm again going to try and slide under the 34, back end crooked, going into turn 3. Who's going to get P2 on this lap? It's still the 34.
Now, I know Paul kind of listens into us, our producer. I wonder if he can get the 2 of Ashton Tucker to kind of watch this battle come out. But we're seeing Mike Rhino kind of pull away just a little bit. But it seems that Danny Chisholm in the 87 really pick up that slack coming into turn 3 and 4 as we ride along right now on the 2 car of Ashton Tucker as we take a peek. Chisholm really good on the exit of these turn corners.
And it's a fatal 5-way now. Riley Duncan is caught up to this battle even after he slammed into the wall. So damage, you can have a little bit. But as long as the guys in front of you are all over the place, you can catch up. Oh, tight quarters. Danny gets a little bit of a help there from the number 2, and that sets him completely loose. Craig Tully going to take advantage of the 2 and the 87 making contact, but Danny's able to reel in the 34 real quick. Mike, my God, I don't know if my heart can handle this.
Well, wait till we get everybody on the track. We got a 5-car dance right now for P2. Brad Eddy really checking out a 4.1 second.
No,
and
Duncan takes out Tucker. Gonna be no caution though.
No caution as we continue on. Conrad Murphy's going to pick up another spot there. But they are going to continue to brew. That 87 and 34 battle is getting really tight as a little scrub. Oh, I don't know if I'd want to do that with 4 to go here because Mike Rhino will possibly return that favor, but Tully is going to try to disrupt that as Tully comes in hard to the bottom now. He'll go door to door with the 34, and Danny Chisholm has an advantage right now as that battle between the 5 and 34 is going to allow the 87 to escape this this next move.
Yeah, Danny wants to get away from that 34 car. He booted him out of the way. Not a dirty move. It's short track racing. Oh, no. Craig Tully boots the 34, and the 34 gets tapped by Riley Duncan. Bad race there for Mike Rhino. The caution will fly here. Making a green white checkered, I believe. So this could spice things up a bit.
We don't usually see the caution on something like that, but it may be premature. But we're going to take our good friend Paul Showtime Strickland and Kong Beerbong to take us back to see what happened there.
Yeah, we saw it happen live there on your screen. Just some heads up driving by a lot of these drivers. A lot of really good saves. But that time Mike Rhino getting just a little bit too much of a push there to get himself spun around. He did go back there. We'll take another peek at it here in the Kong Beerbong instant replay. There you can see he and Craig Tully getting together. The 34 goes up and around and gathers it back up. So we are going to get a green-white checkered here in the final heat race of the evening.
Wow, that's a game changer right now for Brad Eddy, who had built over a 4-second lead on the rest of that. As Chisholm and Mike Rhino really put on a show for 21 laps there. Wow, that was exciting. A little foreshadow for what we're going to be expecting tonight, Dylan. Man, these guys are really getting it done here tonight.
Oh, man, they're putting on a show for everyone watching on Vidane TV and Tim's Corner Motorsports. And want to thank you all again, and want to thank you for watching all year long. The fun does not stop, though, with Vidane TV and TCM. The TCM live shows will continue. We're going to have one coming up this upcoming Monday, 8 p.m., and then I believe we're going to transition to Wednesdays shortly thereafter. So Wednesdays will kind of be reserved as the live show where we're going to chat with race winners, some drivers that are at the tracks, and other personalities. And great partnership we got here with you, Paul, and can't wait to continue that into the summer and kind of recap what's happening with the racing in the Atlantic Canada area and the Maritimes and everywhere. And it's going to be a good season, but I want to thank you all again for sticking with us during the pandemic. You're watching some iRacing. You know, Mike, when I knew that iRacing was getting pretty popular around this time last year, I was like, that video games, right? Like, okay, whatever. But the thing is, gives us a chance to also work on our craft. I mean, we're announcers. We're just a small part of the track, but it gives us some practice time along with these drivers in the sim rigs.
Oh, 100%. That's what I was saying earlier. You know, just over the past 12 months, we probably announced 3 years of racing. You know, our seasons are pretty short here in Atlantic Canada. I get about 25, 26 shows in. But we are back to this one. It's going to be a wild shootout as they are getting pretty close quarters now. The 97 will brush up on the 34. The 34 of Mike Rhino will scrub off the backstretch, but Brad Eddy still controlling this one, but within .002 of a second there earlier. Danny Chisholm not going to let him away as we got White Silk in the sky. Dylan, take him home down the backstretch.
Well, Brad Eddy looks like he's going to hold off a fast-charging Danny Chisholm, but will Brad accept the pole challenge? Eddy gets the checkered flag, winning the third Pit Road TV heat race. Danny Chisholm will come in second, and he wipes out the 72, but hey, it doesn't matter anyways. So we'll get the word from Tim here shortly if Brad will take that pole challenge, which then I'm not sure who will exactly go where. But we're going to grid up here shortly. We're just going to adjust this field, getting ready for the 250-lap main event, the TCM All Star Showcase, presented by the Laker News and Pit Road TV, along with Fitzpatrick Cars.
Well, it's that time, the All Star Showcase. Big shout out to all the presenters here tonight for getting it done. Some cash on the line for these top contenders. 23 vehicles are going to be vying for the big win here tonight. Will our good friend Ryan Messer repeat? Will he go back-to-back here in 2020 and 2021? So we'll find out as we do. Is now still waiting to see if Brad Eddy will take that challenge. If not, he will get the pole here, and he'll be the lucky recipient. If all three of them go back, it looks like Brett Suggs will be the pole.
Oh, geez, that's what he needs, right?
Well, we haven't seen Suggs actually be on the top, so we're going to have Tim Terry in here. Tim, what's going on, bud?
Sorry, I'm dealing with something in the server. Brad Eddy, after further counsel, has said no. He is not starting at the back of the field, so Brad Eddy will lead our field to green. That means that Ryan Matthews and Dustin Momperket, the winner between the two of them within the race, will double their purse money, their finishing position money. So, race within a race. Keep an eye on the back, keep an eye on the front.
Well,
there we go.
Brad Eddy might have been listening to me because that's exactly what I would do, but I don't know. I mean, you on top of your game to come from the back to the front. I got a funny feeling they're going to race pretty clean. New Smyrna allows quite a bit of space to a lot of 2-wide racing we've seen in the heat races, so it's going to be exciting, but we'll get things going here in just a moment as we get set. Brad Eddy will have the pole, and on the outside, it will be the 33 of Brett Suggs.
It will be, and I wonder if we're going to go around one more time with the pace car. Yeah, we'll go around one more time. So we'll warm up here. So going through your field quickly, we have the front row. Oh, never mind. We're racing in iRacing land. New Smyrna. Man, that pace car waited for the last second. That pace car, I think, wanted to race with the boys, and Brad Eddy is the pole sitter, not taking the pole challenge. It's kind of like Richard Petty at Darlington a couple of years ago. He didn't get the sign to go off, but this is going to be a dynamite race. 250 laps in New Smyrna, the best in iRacing in Atlantic, Canada, and in the US of A. Brett Suggs is one of the lone Americans here. I believe also Ryan Matthews is from America. So, a little bit international flavor mixed in here, Mikey.
Yeah, and just looking, taking a peek, a little bit of action there as Ryan Messer contact there with the, I believe that's the 56 of Tandy Woolridge. So these guys are really getting done as we take a peek at the 41 now on the bottom of the 56. Mike Rhino there. A lot of 2-wide racing as they really wadded up here at the halfway pack here. As we see another car, that's Conrad Murphy. He's off the pace. He's trying to get it going again, but Ashton Tucker will stay clear, and we're still on the green. 4 completed. Man, how did they get that done?
I always get so nervous when I see the car getting real squirrely, especially the back end coming out of a turn. That was the case with the number 89 Conrad Murphy. Brad Eddy, he decided to not take the pole challenge, and he may be the smartest guy at the racetrack right now because he is getting a little bit of a lead in front of Danny Chisholm and Brett Suggs. You can see in the 4th position, that is Keith McDaddy McClellan and Chris Roma in the 83. Chris had a couple of heartbreaks during the TCM Weekly Racing Series in Nashville. I'm sure he'd like to cap off his iRacing season with a giant win and a giant performance here in New Smyrna.
Well, very smart decision by Brad Eddy. I've seen a lot. Qualifying is a major factor, especially during speed weeks with the shorter races, the 35-lap shootouts. But I can tell you, Brad Eddy right now has the advantage because he's not probably going to be using a lot of that car as he's running a lot of clean laps here, running some pretty consistent lap times here now. But the rest of the field kind of battling with each other, trying to pick up a few spots. So every couple laps you'll see some transfer positions. And but every lap, these guys are going to be using up some of those tires and using up some of the car. So it'll be interesting who's been set up for the long stretch, who's been set up for the short runs. It'll be a gamble. Those that decide that it's going to be caution-free or it's going to be a lot of caution. So we'll see what strategy we see tonight as we take a peek at the one of Ryan Messer. He's way off the pace. He's all the way to the rear of the field. So something must have transpired there with Messer in the one.
The funny thing with an iRace, Mike, is you could be saying that being like, wow, why is Ryan Messer all the way in the back? Well, we're having some of the best here. So some of the drivers in different positions may surprise you. This is a race where you'll have a couple of chances to make a few pit stops under caution. 3 sets of tires for the drivers, 1 on the car and 2 others in the pits. Who will take advantage of all the tires? And we were talking about Brad Eddy a couple minutes ago. Yeah, he can pretty much conserve and kind of float his way through the race at this point. But how many other drivers are going to be really using up their stuff? I mean really tearing into those tires and beating and banging and beating up their car. Meanwhile, you got someone like Brad up in front who's doing a little Thursday cruise.
Yeah, and that's going to be, like I said, it's going to be dominant for Brad Eddy right now as he can control the race. The question is if we have to get into green flag pit stops, that's where it's going to get a little bit crazy. But as we see more 2-wide racing here, one thing about New Smyrna here in the high banks here in turn 3 and 4, I don't know how close the sim is. I know in Oxford we see a lot of marbles on the outside. But I know once we get this going, this is a 250 lap. A lot of marbles do kind of build up there. So those that are racing hard, I've seen a lot of wrecks up in turn 3 and 4 on the live racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see if you get caught up in that material up at the top of 3 and 4.
Pretty neat thing with iRacing is the progressive weather changes and the progressive track changes. Mike, we saw that with the Bristol dirt track a couple weeks ago where it was really starting to pick up rubber. So the top of the tracks, they're probably going to be pretty rubbery by the end of this thing. And if a driver gets shoved up there, that's bad news, Bears.
Well, you lose total control of that car. I think it was one of the girls from Edmonton race during Speed Weeks, and she got caught up in that mess, and she hit the top of the wall real hard. And I remember myself and Bern Hickey and a couple of boys were there, and it happened right in front of us, and she just had zero control of that car and pretty much destroyed that pro late. So
we got a wreck in the back. It looks like Rational Richard Drake and Ashton Tucker collected each other. It doesn't look like it's going to bring out a caution yet. Now it does. Take the words out of my mouth. We'll have to see exactly what happened, but I saw the 141 sideways for a moment. But we're not here to talk about the replays. We've got Polly to talk about the replays. What happened?
Going to take a quick peek at it here with the Cog Beer Bong Instant Replay. Going to focus in on that number 2 of Ashton Tucker and find out exactly what went down. It looks like Rational Richard may have already been in trouble when Ashton Tucker got there. We're going to take a quick peek. There you can see, looks like there was some contact between the 141 and possibly the 99.
Brandon Campbell.
Back it up just a little bit. There you can see it as we reverse the footage right behind Dustin Mumbercat running in at this 15th position. A little bit of a tap, and the 141 gets around. Ashton Tucker comes by, gives him another little tap there, but doesn't look like big damage. So still a long way to go in this 250 lapper here at New Smyrna Speedway, and there's plenty of time. Right in front of the leaders. Richard Drake gets that thing pointed in the right direction. Looks like he's going to lose 1 lap, though. So tough break for Richard, but still lots of time left to go.
Well, it was a good thing that caution did come out as he was sitting on pit road. That could have been really gnarly. We're seeing a little bit of activity on pit road. We're seeing Mike Rhino, 34, Mike Alexander, Ashton Tucker down for a little stint on pit road.
You know, early in the game here, it's a strategy. If you're further back, take the gamble right now, pit, because you know Brad Eddy and the leaders will have to eventually, and who knows how. First one of the evening after the 141 got tangly with Brandon Campbell, and unfortunately, the number 2 Ashton Tucker was also swept up in the 41, spinning down turn 4. And with a high bank track here, as soon as one car turns, they're going to be turning straight down.
Well, also, we were talking about race within a race. We're seeing the 141 actually report to his pit there, probably assessing that damage now as they come around. Lights are still on the pace car. We still got a couple coming around here, single file. But the race within the race, those that went to the back of the field, Ryan Matthews now finds himself mid-pack, coming from all the way from the back, now finds himself in the 11th position.
A lot of time for things to change. Lap 21 to 250. The TCM All Star Showcase 2.0, brought to you by our good buddy Pat Healy at the Laker News, who's going to be doing some work with TCM this year. Pretty excited for that. Also, Pit Road TV, big thanks to Tony Stevens. I know he's been one busy guy so far. I don't think he's ever really stopped here. It seems like there's always some sort of racing down in the States that he's at covering. And as well, Fitzpatrick Carr is helping us out here tonight, too.
100%. Tony Stevens obviously is definitely at a racetrack right now, because if not, he would probably be in the trailer with us. Man, he calls a wicked show. I got to watch a lot of races. Road TV. You can subscribe to him. Check him out online. Google it up. Pit Road TV. They are super busy. If you love short track racing, check out Pit Road TV and the action throughout the whole season. They are one busy company. So we are set to go back, and Brad Eddy will come out clean. Kind of pitches up, tries to block that run on the 87 of Danny Chisholm. We've seen a lot of action from them earlier on, and now Daddy Mac, Keith McClellan, pulls into the P3 spot. Suggs will sit back in P4. Side by side throughout the whole field. We're getting lots of action at the midpoint.
Yeah, you could say that again. Side by side. I think that's going to be the case for the entire show.
Side by side.
Yeah, we could just say that for the rest of the race. Noel Fougier is still side by side with Joey Stiers at the moment. That's a bit further back, and you can see Tanton Woolridge, young driver. Oh, we're going 3 wide at a turn 4. Ooh, baby. Tight quarters here. Newfoundland and Labrador is turned around by the Joey Stiers machine. 23. Head on. Will that bring out the caution, though? Doesn't look like it. One car incident.
Tully kind of scrubbed across the front of the 23, but earlier on, right before that incident, Dyers was all the way up in 3 and 4, and that's exactly what I was talking about with the marbles. But a little bump and run from the 83 into the back of the 33, and now Fougier will get to the side of the 33 of Brett Suggs. But back to the Stiers story, he got up there, almost lost control of that car. I got a funny feeling in about 100 laps, that's going to be a hairy situation up there in the top.
Oh, going to be brutal. And speaking of brutal, Brett Suggs is falling back. We don't normally say that. And there's one of the pole challenge drivers, Ryan Matthews, going around the 33. Brett was so consistent in the TCM Weekly Racing Series. There, he got a little help from the 83, Chris Roma. He washed at the track, able to collect himself. But now he is just drifting back to 8th at the moment.
Still plenty of time. He is clean hands recipient award winner, and he does like to have a bit of space. You know, he is one of those guys that strategizes and always ends up in the top 5. So right now he knows it's going to be a long stretch here with 221 laps to go. Suggs just being patient and trying to play a little chess here now. But earlier on, we've seen the 13 of Justin Collison. A little activity with himself in the 56 of Tanton Woolridge. A little bit of a battle, but Tanton's going to take over that position. Woolridge, one of the Bando drivers out of Prince Edward Island, a young gun, having an awesome year in the TCM Special Events. It's a bit of a wild ride as he's in pretty good shape here. P9 for Tanton Woolridge.
Brad Eddy is still your leader on lap 31 at 250, a long race. It could go maybe a bit faster if we have solid green flag racing. So far, one caution after Rational Richard was turned around with the 99 car of Brandon Campbell. There's the shot back up in front with Brad Eddy leading the parade, the Pied Piper here. 87, Danny Chisholm in 2nd. Keith McClellan staying content in 3rd at the moment. And for him, you've got 2 fast cars in front of you. Looks like maybe Riley Duncan, who we'll talk about him in a second. You got a couple fast chargers, but you're in a spot where you're up in front. You could conserve a bit. But let's talk about Riley Duncan. That's a driver who qualified for this race on a provisional as a highest finisher without actually winning a TCM sanctioned event. And right now, Mr. Duncan is in 4th. How about that?
unbelievable. He's had a great run, and we've seen a lot of progress coming out of the 97 machine throughout this whole year. But the biggest story of the board right now, from back of the pack, now picking up another spot on the 36 and Noel Fougere, is the 51 machine of Ryan Matthews. Now is on the back bumper, the 83 of Chris Roma. Man, oh man, does this guy got a quick machine. I said I would not want to get to the back, but obviously Ryan Matthews has a great setup here tonight, and boy, does he ever look good tonight. Really racy here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a work through that minefield. Oh, but he makes contact with the 83.
What a save.
That could have been bad. That could have sent the 51 in the back of the field if the 83 completely lost it. But we can just see the 51 just got a better car than most of the rest of the field. So he's just moving his way through here.
Well, there was a bit of contact on the back of the 83. I don't think the 51 tried to shove him. Just probably come in a little bit too hot. But one thing about race car drivers, they never forget. So that will be interesting if Chris Roma can get back up there. But a lot of scrub off those tires, as you've seen the smoke come off those tires. So a bit of heat cycle thrown in those Ford Goodyears for the 83. So that could be a factor trying to catch up to the front again. But he's going to try to stay fair here as he holds that P8 with Kent Woolridge to the back of him.
A lot of single file racing on the track after we had a little bit of craziness. And you know what's funny? The 83 made contact with Brett Suggs, which then sent Brett to the back. And then we get a case where Ryan Matthews makes contact with the 83. So what comes around goes around sometimes here at the short tracks, where if you do something, well, hang on. It could happen to you in about 20 laps. And look who the 83 is behind now.
Yeah, and you know he's got a great competitor in front of him to show him a quick way around. But this is wild right from start to the back. We got some stout drivers. You know, when you got Rational Richard Drake, who's the most winningest driver this year in 2021, at the rear of the field, you know you got a great race brewing in front of us as Rational Richard tries to get back on it. Now working the back bumper of the 17 of Bob Hutchings. So pretty wild. As one thing to note, Rational Richard is down one lap from that pit visit, so he's trying to work up through the field. The rest of the field are on the lead lap, so all 21 cars on the lead lap. Rational Richard down one. If we go to caution again, he will have the lucky dog recipient.
And that's the thing I would be fearing if I was Rational Richard, because the leaders are going to be catching up to some slower cars sooner than later, which would then throw Richard further down the line, and that's just going to make it tougher and tougher for him to try and get back on the lead lap. Here comes Dustin Bumpercat underneath the 13 car of Justin Collison. Can we just call him Justin Collision? That's a cooler name.
No. It's Collison.
Justin Collison.
Well, I'll just keep calling you Hall of Fame.
Sure, that's fine.
You'll take that one. But the 16 was one of those guys that had taken the pole challenge to the rear of the field. Ryan Matthews in a little bit better shape, but Dustin Bumpercat with a fast car. But look at this, the 41 had to check up there as that battle between Collison and the 13 and the 16 of Bumpercat kind of brewing there. 41 kind of lurking back there like a great white shark.
Jason Gosse qualified for this race. Oh, hello, Mr. Collison. Almost right on the wall there. Big time.
Yeah, that's going to open the door for the 41 of Jason Gosse, throwing it in corner, but he's still got a bit of a battle ahead of him. Ryan Messer is going to try to come with him, and that's going to hang the 13 out to dry if Messer can get to the bumper. You'll see the lines that a lot of these guys, and this is what we see in real life, a lot of guys like to take it up to the wall on the front stretch and back stretch and get that momentum going into turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But when you go too wide, you can't do that. So it's interesting to watch the lines that our drivers are throwing down here. I know, listen to some of the spotters at the Governor's Cup and Speed Weeks. You can always hear them come up to the wall. So you're seeing that a lot here. We'll probably get Paul here a little bit of a peek, a side profile of these cars and how close they're getting there as we see the 97 Riley Duncan just scraping off that front stretch wall.
Yeah, Ryan Matthews got knocked out of the way by the 51 as Ryan Matthews, one of the old challenge drivers. He is charging through the field, and he's not wasting time as we have crossed over lap 50 of 250. And look at that, maybe a foot less than that between Riley Duncan and the wall. I mean, the decals are going to be grinded off by the end of the night. I mean, look how much rubber's on the wall.
A lot of paint, a lot of rubber on New Smyrna's walls, but always pretty exciting as caution comes out here at the 1/5 mark. 50 laps completed. Caution in the air. We did not get to see it live, so that's going to bring in our good friend Paul Showtime Strickland and Kong Beerbong to give us a little bit of a replay. Back to the future, Paul.
Yeah, we're going to rewind the tapes, take a quick peek, see if we can find out what went down. It looks like the 34 of Mike Rhino is off the pace, and, well, with good reason. It looks like he and Bob Hutchings made a little bit of contact, and it looks like it was actually right behind Rational Richard Drake, or the Rash, as we started calling him last night. And we'll take a quick peek here, and here's the replay. There you see Mike Rhino down low, Bob Hutchings in a 17 up high, and just kind of a couple drivers going for the same piece of real estate. There you see Mike Alexander getting by, and doesn't look like it was a big-time hit. Just kind of looked like they made contact, stuck together, and they both kind of came to a simultaneous stop. So that's good news there. A couple drivers, you'll probably see them maybe come down pit road if they flat-spotted those tires and maybe make a quick change. These drivers have 2 sets of tires sitting on pit road waiting for them for the 250 lapper here. So might even be looking at some tire strategy. Long race to go here, less than 200 laps to go here for the Tim's Corner Motorsports All Star Showcase.
New Smyrna throws down some pretty impressive racing, and we're seeing tonight in this TCM All Star as we see pit road open up here. Craig Tully, Mike Alexander, Ashton Tucker, Joey Stiers, as well as Bob Hutchings heading down pit road.
Action down pit road, eh?
100% strategy at the 1/5 mark. So it'll be interesting the who's going to be setting up for checkmate once we get close to the final couple of laps here at New Smyrna. One of my favorite spots on the track actually to watch is over there in turn 3 and 4. The pits at New Smyrna are actually behind 3 and 4. So they do a lot of series down here, so we see a lot of in and out of different divisions, but most of the race car paddocks are actually behind 3 and 4. And what a wild spot to watch this race is, coming down that back stretch. It's like fighter jets coming into turn 3 and 4.
I remember the first time going to Scotia Speed World and seeing the cars go to the back pit area at a turn 2 and then coming out of turn 3. And I just thought that was the strangest thing as a kid because I watched NASCAR all the time. You pit in the infield. But hey, this is short track racing at its finest.
Well, originally Eastbound International, Pat Squires, the owner, had set up that same style as they were going to put a dirt track in the middle of the 3/8 mile at Eastbound. It was going to be a double track. And then we had an incident with our tech garage. And then when they rebuilt it, the plan was changed and they put in the concrete pads. And now we have the pitting in the infield. So kind of would have been cool to see that dirt track in the middle. But we are back to green flag, lap 55. Brad Eddy has a challenger right now. Look at that. Ryan Matthews is now up into the P3 and looks like he could take advantage of that Danny Chisholm 87, and he's going to kick out and wad it up into turn 3. That's going to draw the caution.
That could throw the 51 in the back of the field, maybe.
Well, how do you say it if you're down south? Caution.
A caution.
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 Put it out.
Or yellow rag.
Throw it out. Whatever Clint
throw
Boyer
it out.
says.
That's what it is. Clint Boyer. Throw it out.
You can take a peek here. Another King Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And
King Kong.
King Kong. Side by side, 4-second place. And you can see we might have to take a look at the chopper here. A couple of drivers just kind of going for the same piece of real estate. You can see the 87 kind of recorrected or overcorrected just a bit. That was a hard hit with that outside wall there. And I still see Ryan Matthews, according to time and scoring, still in the second position. Focus in here up at the top of your screen. That's going to be the battle we're looking at. And we'll back it up one more time. Just barely caught it there. You can see they kind of make contact. There's a little tap there. And there's one more little tap. So I don't know. It looks like it might be a racing deal between here, but Chisholm does a great job holding the brakes and making sure he doesn't roll back into traffic there on lap number 58.
And from that shot, you can start seeing the marbles starting to build up there in 3 and 4 that we were talking about earlier on. Still really early, so if that continues at what I think is going to happen, it's going to get dicey on the top of those corners.
Man, just tough break for Danny Chisholm, who was in second. And yeah, racing deal as the 51 is going to be staying up front, and that's bad news for Brad Eddy, because this 51 is bad fast.
It'll be interesting to see how he counts this one down. Brad Eddy is going to have to be sharp. Is he going to hold him back a little bit? Is he going to play with the field? We've seen in the past on these restarts, those that try to hold the field back sometimes causes a bit of a domino effect to the rear of the field, thinking that everybody's going to go, and sometimes they wad it up. I've seen some real big wrecks like that at Eastbound and several other tracks where a guy just holds them back, and then all of a sudden everybody thinks they're going and they're not.
Lap 60, pacing around here in New Smyrna. I want to thank you all again for tuning into the TCM All Star Showcase, brought to you by the Laker News and Pit Road TV, along with Fitzpatrick Carr. We're getting ready to restart, going to double up the field. Ryan Matthews, one of the pole challenge drivers, and at this rate, he would win it in front of Dustin Mumbercat as he's in front. So doubling the purse, that's big money.
Tim's saying no,
wreck him.
Wreck him. Where's the button? Conspiracy.
Delete.
Lap 61, and we're going into 60. Pace car is going to exit. Brad Eddy with the hammer. He fires right away, but it looked like Ryan Matthews had a bit of a jump there. I don't know if they're going to bring that back or they're going to let it go, but I don't know if Brad Eddy was fully gone.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call here for the 51. I don't know. I've never really seen thrown out too much, to be honest, in iRacing.
They're going to let it go, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Brad had let it go, but who knows? We won't know that right now. But Riley Duncan hanging on to that P3. But look at this, the 56. Tat Woolridge and Chris Roma are going to go at it here now. Roma looking for some more real estate here, is trying to get to the back bumper of the 33, the 56-83 going at it. Dustin Burkett right behind him in the P9. But look at this, Ryan Messer on the hunt right now. He's behind the 13 of Collison.
Oh man, just a scramble of cars on this track. New Smyrna, they're everywhere.
Well, this is what
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you kind of blipped out there. I thought, but anyways, this is what I like about racing. We've seen a lot of. I don't think I ever went to Oxford because those races it's really difficult to pass. We didn't see a lot of action door to door, and this is what we're seeing here in New Smyrna. This has not been disappointing.
Yeah, and we're seeing that upper lane kind of work for some drivers right there. Look at that charge by Mike Rhino around Dyers, and he's going to try and make it a 2-for-1 around Brandon Campbell. Brandon slides to the track a bit and stops the 34 car's momentum. Lap 67, Ryan Matthews grabbed the lead on the restart from Brad Eddy. We're watching some big action right now between a flickering number 1 car, Ryan Messer, along with Jason Gosse, who made his way into this race last night, Mike, not even 24 hours ago.
Well, I'd be screaming at everybody in the house if I was Ryan Messer right now. Turn everything off, because officials are going to be looking at that. If that car continues to blink here and lose connection, that will put them down into pit road.
Yeah, and we've seen a few drivers, especially the rural, just the internet machine doesn't want to work, and then they may be having themselves a good, and everything just goes kaput, and you're out because of the internet.
One car we haven't talked a lot about tonight, Brandon Campbell from up in Miramichi, the 99 machine, holding off the hard charge in number 1, the 34, Mike Rhino. We're taking a peek here as he comes into the corner, looking great there behind the 41 of Jason Gosse.
Yeah, Brandon's running a mini stock this year and hoping to do some big racing in Miramichi, maybe come over to Riverside, Petty. So he just posted his car he bought on Facebook this week, so he's pretty excited about that. And his brother races in the Bomber division at Speedway Miramichi, and that track is running May 15th. That's a big day in New Brunswick, kicking off the official 2021 racing season. There's been a couple of winter races, but once the true oval racing kicks off, that's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully this guy can be in the demo race if the bubble opens up, and I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to see how Brandon's going to do in his real car. But right now, he's holding steady in front of the number one, and pardon me, he was in front of the number one. Now the number one is drifting a bit.
Yeah, 34, Mike Rhino will take that away, and but now Russell Richard is on the move. Keep an eye on that 75 of Mike Alexander. And just those tuning in that do know Brandon Campbell, a little tidbit of information. He is half a Newfoundlander, and hopefully he will be at Eastbound International this summer if the travel allows. It'd be great to have him over here, as he's from the southern shore, or his mom is from the southern shore part of the island. And another little bit of tidbit, Dylan, are you a Jimmy Buffett fan?
Oh, man, cheeseburger in paradise.
Jimmy Buffett's a Newfoundlander.
I know. I watched a video of him at the K-Rock station.
I didn't even know. So, but he's from around the same area, Brandon Campbell's mom. So maybe Campbell's related to Jimmy Buffett. Maybe we can get a deal on a trip down south.
Oh, I'd go for a little margarita. You know, nice patio weather. Not tomorrow here in Nova Scotia. My goodness, snowing. Yeah, snowing tomorrow.
Well, we need to talk about our contracts for 2022 and the fall of 2021. We're going to have to get some margaritas and pizza in our contracts, but still a great show here tonight. I'm James from Eastbound International. Dylan Langell, if you're just tuning in, this is the TCM All Star Race. These are the top guns in Atlantic Canada, a couple peppered in here from the United States. And our leader currently right now, the 51, Ryan Matthews, who was pole setter, who took the challenge, went all the way to the back of the field, and now is controlling double the money if he takes the win. Brad Eddy, who decided not to take the challenge, is now in P2.
One thing you got to take into account as well, these drivers will have to make a pit stop, and looking so far, nobody in the top 10 has made a trip down to pit road. Closest to the leader, Mike Rhino, has made 2 trips down pit road. And it's kind of checkerboarded after that. Some drivers have had a trip down to pit road, whether they want to get some tires on or they were tangled up in someone else's wreck, or maybe they made some contact with the wall. I don't know the fuel window or the tire window, but we can see with the 51 car, Ryan Matthews, seems to be all full steam ahead for him.
One car we forgot to mention, I don't know, maybe you said it, but the 87 Danny Chisholm wadded it up there in that battle with Ryan Matthews, is done for the evening. The 87 had a great run. What a battle he put on the screen for us in the heat race. So unfortunately, the 87 Danny Chisholm has retired for the evening.
Yeah, and that was just an unfortunate racing incident with the 51 just going right through.
Looking at the board right now, Russell Richard picking a couple of spots now, sitting in P14. So seeing him now right behind Mike Rhino and Brandon Campbell. A lot of, like I said, this is a wild all-star showcase. You know, when you got Ashton Tucker in P19, bro, this is a sick race.
Yeah, what's going on here? Normally you hear that and think, wow, I mean, what's happening? But yeah, he got tangled up in the 141, spinning big time.
You know, he was our champion at Oxford Plains, had a really hard luck start to Nashville, got him involved with some incidents, and failed to qualify in race number 1, which was a huge surprise for us, where he got tangled up in a wreck and then ended up in an LCQ. You know, so unfortunately for him, he didn't have as good as a start as he did in Oxford, but right now we're taking a peek at that. Ashton Tucker will pick up another spot. He's now in P18 as he gets past Ryan Messer. Ryan Messer off the mark right now.
Yeah, he looks like he's a little loose. I don't know if he may just completely lost all control, but the Godfather is falling back here at New Smyrna. Checking through the field, there's a good battle between the 56, Tanton Woolridge, and the 83 of Chris Roma. I mean, the age gap there is not too big, but I mean, Tanton's, I don't even think he's old enough to have his driver's license yet in Brentford Highland.
Yeah, we've seen some magical moments coming out of that 50 this year. It's been so awesome. Interview gets a top 3. You know, spending a lot of time. One of his partner in crimes, Johnny Fitzpatrick, we've not seen him tonight. He's one of the top performers here in Atlantic Canada. Haven't seen Fitzpatrick in a while, so I guess he's getting prepared for the full season.
Yeah, I think Tim mentioned he was moving, or he commitment. It was a shame we didn't have the A Carr, because that's also a guy who almost won the All Star Showcase last year. He was not too far off from winning the whole shebang.
Yeah, talking to the 56, he spends a lot of time with John Fitzpatrick on setups and working hard as a young gun. He's really proven himself this year. It'll be interesting to see what he takes away from the simulator into the real world. And that's what's going to be exciting about the 2021 season. Where I got a funny feeling, man, some of these guys that we're seeing, even the Eastbound drivers, it's going to be exciting to see what they've learned, what they've taken away, and actually apply it to real life. You know, you look at all the Cup drivers and even the new series that you see on Netflix with Kevin James and stuff. You know, these guys, they're doing the same thing. You know, these Cup drivers are in the sims all the time, practicing and tuning their skills. And what we've seen throughout this whole pandemic, we've seen a lot of guys turn a lot of laps.
Well, and with any other sport, I mean, sure, you can practice and whatnot, but with hockey, and with a pandemic, you can't really play it at your home, except for playing some street hockey, and that kind of goes on the arena, sort of, but not really. But with simulated racing, it's as close as you can really get besides being at the real racetrack. And if you have a simulator which has gyroscopes and it has the sensation in the wheel and vibrations, I mean, my goodness, you can be real close. The only thing I always hear is you're not getting the air effect. You're not feeling the air. You're not having the loud sounds, and temperature as well as one thing. If it's a hot, scorching day, well, if your apartment's climate controlled, you're not really feeling that. But really, you're getting the experience.
Well, some of these drivers, you know, could have upwards of 75,000. I know Pinty's had one up for sale during the big final Cup race. They had a big promotion on the go. $75,000 simulator was up for grabs. You got guys that have steering wheels nailed down to their coffee table. You know, with Lazy Boys, we've got other guys with full-on wooden frames, and it's pretty impressive. I know the Butchers got some pretty impressive simulators. We don't see them tonight, but they got some pretty impressive sims.
Yeah, they do. The Butchers, we're going to be seeing them real soon in the Pro Stock with Jarrett and Cole in the 53 and the 54. Can't wait to see them real soon. First Pro Stock race coming up after the May 2-4 long weekend in New Brunswick. Wait, no, I got that backwards. It is the long weekend in New Brunswick. Scotia Speed World is the week after that.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy season. You know, every weekend once this gets open, there's going to be activity all throughout the Maritimes and Atlantic Canada. And I know we're going to be every week at Eastbound this year, so it'll be back and forth between our iTrade drag program as well as our NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts series. So bit of a battle right now on the board, just off by a little bit, close to 0.2 of a second. Riley Duncan, Keith McClellan getting it done up there in P3. As we look, Keith McClellan trying to apply pressure on the back of the 97, trying to get it done here, as we do have a peak right now on the screen, the 33 and the 36 going at it, with the 56 kind of lurking back there. But Keith McClellan applying lots of pressure right now to that 97.
Yeah, we saw a good little battle there with Noel Fougere and Brett Suggs, and it's just kind of blowing my mind right now that Brett Suggs is not up in front, but we're only a little bit through here, lap 100 to 250, so well over halfway left to go in this race, and we can see that one of the 51 has lapped a few cars, including Brandon Campbell, so a couple of stop gaps between himself and the 72 Brad Eddy.
Yeah, we were 2 fifths of the way, still plenty of action. You were talking about Brett Suggs. This is a guy that just really gets it done. You know, only 19 years old, has dedicated his life to motorsports. If you don't know him, check him out online. He's got so many different social feeds. He's got Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I'm sure he's got Snap. This kid is the real deal. And I can tell you, this Wildcat is definitely strategizing here for the long run. We've seen a lot of green flag laps here. He's not using up the car. He's comfortable with the position he's in. He's in P6 right now as we take a peek at him. Not throwing a lot of pressure on the 36, just coasting around and buying some time here. And he knows there's still plenty here, this action.
You ever have a case, Mike, where you hear someone's voice and you picture them looking completely different?
That's Brett Suggs.
I had that case of Brett Suggs. Once I liked his page on Facebook, Brett Racing Marketing and Racing LLC. I was like, wow, this guy's like, what, 19, 20 years old? He sounds like a 30-year-old man. But what a racer. Races like a 30-year-old. How professional he is.
Suggs out of North Carolina, but he's part of the RBR team, so he's teammates with Chris Roma and the boys. Spends a lot of time with these guys in the Maritime, so I don't think he's missed one of these TCM special events.
No, he seems to be doing a lot of iRacing. I mean, I get notifications on my own Facebook saying that he's doing stuff, and he always has his live stream doing. We thank you for sticking with us tonight. Mike James, Devin Langell, and Mr. Money in the Bank. I almost said that. All Showtime Strickland.
The gravy train.
Yeah, Mr. Big Bucks there. Lap 107 to 250.
Well, if we get to talk to the 33 of Brett Suggs, one question I will ask him, girlfriend spends a hell of a lot of time in a real race car as well as the sim. So, but he's got plenty of time for girlfriends. But really put on a show here tonight as single file. Not a lot of action on the screen right now. The only really close right now, we're taking a peek at the 141 of Rational Richard. He's got a battle brewing here with Mike Rhino, whose teammate, that's the 75 of Mike Alexander back there, kind of lurking. Was involved with the earlier on caution, so picked up some damage and trying to get it done here. Mike Alexander did, I believe, report to pit road. He was down 46 laps ago.
And I think whenever the next caution lands, we could see the leaders maybe tucking down pit road. And oh goodness, did I jinx it again?
You did.
Rational Richard gets tapped by Mike Alexander, but we're going to keep rolling here. No caution on the track as of yet. There's the 51 car, the leader, Ryan Matthews, going around the 141 Rational Richard. It's just not Richard tonight at this moment.
Well, still plenty of time. It could be a Magic Rich night, but Magic Mike might have had a little bit of a hand in caution or non-caution. Rational Richard, I believe there might have been a little bit of tap, but looked to be a racing incident as contact there. But Rational Richard will get it done. What a job he did last night, Dylan, calling the show, and I think he's setting himself up to be a play-by-play announcer here at TCM with us.
Oh, guys, you gonna take my job?
No, hell no. We'll make it 3 wide.
Yeah, we'll make it 3 in a boot.
I told him last night maybe Patrick from Laker News would sponsor his microphone if he does try to make a full-time gig at it. But it was awesome to have him in the booth. Having that driver perspective, talking back and forth, and just the situations that we're seeing on the screen. It was great to talk to him and get his perspective of up in the booth. So I think he was quite surprised as well.
Yeah, it's always cool to have a driver in the booth, whether it's with NASCAR, with the guest analyst will always have, or Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, guys who have been in the car, best of best in the business, or just someone at your local racetrack who wants to get on the mic and, bring their expertise with the race cars and explain to the race fans what's going on here and what's going on there is a little battle with the 33 and the 36, Noel Fougier. You talk about a guy who is not in the real race car, but is really good in the simulator. Noel Fougier, the anthem singer at Riverside International Speedway. He can belt out the Star Spangled Banner like it's nobody's business, along with O Canada. And he's having a half-decent race so far, battling with our champion with the TCM Weekly Racing Series.
Now we're having a peek. We had a little bit of a shot of... now look at that. There is that battle that we were talking about earlier. The Bud Light machine of Teddy Mack. Keith McClellan, who had a Mr. Perfect moment this year. He's not applying that much pressure behind the 97. Kind of staying with him, not letting him out of his sights as they continue to work away these laps. Right now, Brad Eddy is about 1.6 seconds off the pace from Ryan Matthews. So a lot of these, the top 4 kind of settling in and turning some laps here. This has been a long green flag stretch. We've had almost the incidents of the caution to come out, but we stayed green as earlier on we've seen Rational Richard with the monster save and try to get it going here and continue to keep us on green flag.
It really gets me thinking, too, of if this keeps going green flag, will we have to see the leaders tuck in to pit road to get some new tires or to fill up the car? How far can you really stretch the tires? Where are we going to see the fall off? Are we going to see Ryan Matthews really start to conserve as he's got a giant lead in front of Brad Eddy? And Brad has been a man who has just been in P2, pretty consistent, just staying there, and no need to push the envelope at the moment. We are coming up to, well, we got a couple of cars tucking in. Actually, that may have been Brad Eddy right there tucking in pit road.
Yeah, we're seeing some activity right now on pit road as we see just in a moment here. But that
was Brad Eddy.
Basically, this is a good opportunity to bring in Paul. Paul's very familiar with New Smyrna. I've won quite a few showcases here. Paul, you got a copy? Paul? Nope. No Paul.
No, well, I'll do my best Paul imitation. Well, we got the leaders coming down pit road. There's Ryan Matthews tucking in that 51 machine along with Conrad Murphy. And this is going to be a really interesting point of the race. We're having green flag laps, the leaders on pit road to service their machines, filling them up with gas, changing the tires. And, man, this could be the only pit stop they'll need at this point. If we go completely green flag back to the back there, we could only see, well, I'm not really sure what Tanton Woolridge was. It almost looked like he was lifting. I mean, just really slow up here. So change of pace, and now we have a new leader. It's the race winner from earlier, Mr. Jason Gosse.
Well, Gosse going 2 for 2 last night. We had our P1 and P2 actually DQ on the final lap. White rag was in the sky, and they touched off each other and hit their incident point as we see the leader come around, and a lot of exiting cars coming off pit road. So the 41 trying to be safe here, but put a lot of people down a lap. But he's going to report pit road here now and try to get service here as he will give up that lead. Mike Rhino will now move up into P1. Rhino was down 73 laps ago, so the 34 has been serviced, but I don't think he has enough to go the distance, but could be a strategy here and try to get that late pit road activity if quite a few of these cars go down a lap.
Same with Mike Alexander. Mike has been down pit road twice. Third is Ashton Tucker, who has had quite the race so far. Pretty beat up front end. So keep an eye on Mike Alexander and Mike Rhino. Two guys who've already been down pit road a few times, and Mike had a hard hit in that heat race earlier, which made him start further back in the field. Now he's in P2, and the leader coming into the pitting time of this race, I should say, Ryan Matthews, he's actually behind Brad Eddy at the moment.
Yeah, so right now from P6 back, they are down a lap as we take a peek here. Like I said, Mike Rhino, Mike Alexander, Ashton Tucker, Joey Stiers, as well as Rational Richard are ahead by a lap here now. So, but look at this, 51 hard charging right now, trying to get around 5 of Craig Tully.
Yeah, and Brad Eddy not too far behind, although the 51 is starting to make the 72 eat his dust at this point. Getting away from Brad Eddy on lap 131. Good chunk of this race still left to go. Hard to pick a winner because right now we've got two guys on a completely different strategy in front.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about those guys that are still on the lead lap, 75 to 80 laps. Rational Richard was down 112 laps ago. So this will be a flip at some point. But as for now, maybe this is strategy, like I said. If a caution comes out with 50 to go, if they can get to that distance, that's going to be a wild finish.
Look at this. You can see the 51 actually is now caught up to Mike Alexander and Mike Rhino. So that was the guy who was in front earlier. And you can see the new tires, the fresh tires in that 51. They're just going to chomp through the 75 eventually. And the 34. So right now, they're both a lap down. They're going to go around the 75 car, going to try and work around Mike Alexander. He gets around him cleanly, he being the 51, Ryan Matthews. And now he's right behind the race leader. Oh, caution, and Brandon Campbell spins in front of the leaders, and that's going to mix things up here. It's going to keep the 51 a lap down, I think.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Who's going to come down pit road now from that top 5? But looking at the lap time, so the folks at home can know what the difference of those 4 Goodyears was. It's 0.8 of a second off those cars. So, Paul, bring us back and see what happened with the 99.
99 not having a good go of it here on lap 135. You can see he loses the back end of the car, goes up into the wall, and kind of a quick, lazy flip or do 1.5, and then back a half. Rational Richard Drake. Oh my goodness. Brad Eddy, Ryan Matthews doing a great job getting around the 99, and there you can see grabs a gear, gets going in the right direction again, and it looks like our leaders are going to come down pit road. How about this break for Rational Richard Drake? He's been a lap down more than once here tonight. And he's back on the lead lap with a little bit of pit strategy. He's going to come down and still be on the lead lap, have a lot of track position here for the 141. So that's pretty cool to see.
So Mike Rhino, Mike Alexander, Brandon Campbell. We're seeing Craig Tully, as well as Joey Stiers, Ashton Tucker, heading down pit road as well. So a bit of activity on pit road. Just the difference right now, Mike Alexander gone down. There's 11 laps in the difference on that pit road.
I think
nothing.
Well, I don't know what I'm thinking now. I really don't know. Richard Drake is the leader. I know that.
Well, Rational Richard's still 118 laps on those Goodyears, so he's going to have to figure out when he's going to go. Will he go this time? It looks like he may take the bait, and he's going to go down now. He's going to have the 34. Mike Rhino's going to go down again for some extra service. I guess Rhino's taking advantage of these cautions and getting some extra service for that final stretch. Do they have it in their mindset that this is going to be another long green flag stretch like we just seen? Or are we going to see a peppered yellow situation that we've seen sometimes in the past where cautions breed cautions, and that's really going to shag everything up?
I think it's going to be a bit salt and peppery with cautions. Just got a hunch about that.
Give us your analyst accent.
Ooh, you want Southern American?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I think on lap 139 of 250 there could be a caution in this portion of the race.
No I'm gonna try.
Or do you want the Canadian in me to tell you?
Let me hear your best Newfoundland impression of a caution analysis.
Oh yes, bye. Come by chance, bye. Down the pit road, bye.
Scratch ass tickle cove, bye. That's horrible.
At a 10, was that like a 2?
1, maybe a half.
Okay. That's
But
why you get a fly up.
You did throw the come by chance in there, so
I did.
So we still got 110 laps here. Bit of a crazy mix up here with this caution. Mike Alexander is your current leader.
I'm a little confused here. Where? We're all lined up here. It was showing different people. So for the folks at home watching, Mike and I have a scoring ticker on our phones that we can look at, along with the ticker that you're looking at. And it was showing like 4 different people in first for a moment, but it looks like Mike Alexander and Joey Stiers will be on the front row with Mike Rhino, Ashton Tucker, Richard Drake. I think that Ryan Matthews is still going to be a lap down because he did not pass the 34 before that caution came out.
Well, that's going to be the way it's going to roll out as the lights are on pace car. We are going to get back to action here. This is a bit of a game changer. Matthew still showing. He is actually shown on the lead, but in P15 right now.
Okay, so maybe the wave around may have just been not in his favor, but hey, that's short track racing sometimes, and a different bunch of cars in front. We're back green flag racing here at New Smyrna, and with some cars with some newer tires, this could be a little imbalanced, I'll say.
Now, this is interesting. The 72 Brad Eddy is being scored as 1 lap down, so a bit of a tangle here on lap 143.
Yeah, just I guess the way the caution blue? I'm honestly don't really know the straight answer to that. That was a big banana split with Mike Rhino.
Well, Mike Rhino was down 2 times on that last caution, getting some extra service. It looks like he got the repairs that he was looking for. As looks like a man on a mission. The 34 Rhino way up through the field.
So Mike Alexander is the leader with Ashton Tucker in P2 and Rational Richard Drake in third. I think the guy we're gonna have our eye using the 051, who was just chomping his way, cutting, slashing through the competition. He's in 13th. I expect he won't be there too long.
These last couple of cautions and the pit road activity has really diced up this race. You know, if you've been watching since lap number 1, pretty standard there with a dominating performance from our leader at the time, who was Ryan Matthews, who now sits in 12th position. But it was like we threw all the names in a bag and just tossed it up and just spewed it on the table, because we've got a massive mix-up here from what we were seeing in the first 120 laps.
If I'm looking at this right, fellas, it seems like there was 5 drivers that didn't come down for a green flag pit stop. That was Alexander, Tucker, Drake, Rhino, and Messer were the 5 drivers that didn't check that. Steers, not Messer. Messer came down for a green flag pit stop. So everybody that those 5 drivers, caution came out. They were the only drivers on the lead lap, so they were able to come down and hold on to that the top 5 position after the pit stop. And any of the drivers that were 1 lap down, they could either stay out and take the wave around. Some of those drivers, though, did elect to come down pit road and get fresh tires. So a couple of those drivers did get stuck a lap down. Brad Eddy, Conrad Murphy, Bob Hutchings, Craig Tully, and Justin Collison appears to be some of those drivers.
Looks like the 99 of Brandon Campbell probably is going to be done with the evening. He may return as we take a peek of him on pit road, now down 21 laps.
Yeah, his night's done. We'll just call it that. He ain't winning the race.
He may come back for a bit of fun on the final 10.
Yeah, mess up the field. I don't know.
A little cold trickle.
Maybe.
Well, drivers never forget, so we'll see what happens here as we take a peek at Ashton Tucker. He's got the 141 of Rational Richard, or his new nickname, the Rash.
The Rash.
The Rash.
I don't know if that's a nickname you want.
I won't go there.
Road Rash is a fun game. You ever play that?
I played Frogger.
That's a fun game.
Not dating myself, but now we're taking a peek at the 51. Ryan Matthews now getting to the bottom of the 36 spot, as he is a man on the hunt right now. Ryan Matthews now getting top 10. He's in the P10 position now, setting his sights on Suggs.
Less than 100 laps to go. 96 to be exact here in New Smyrna. Thank you all for tuning in to the TCM All Star Showcase 2.0, new and improved. Lots of drivers who are here the first time, but some of the drivers who are here for the very first time. All thanks again to Pit Road TV, the Laker News, and Fitzpatrick Cars, and one car going way up the track, and that's Conrad Murphy. Little assistance in the 51.
Well, blue flag was shown for the 89. Was kind of a little bit deterrent for the 51 of Ryan Matthews, trying to get up to Brett Suggs, and 89 trying to stay within position, but blue flag was thrown for the 89, and a little contact there, but no harm, no foul. The 89 does allow the 51 to clear.
And the 51 car is leading the pole challenge. Dustin Mumbercast, the other cat who's going for it. Dustin's a bit further back, so wherever the 51 finishes, he's doubling his prize money nonetheless, but he wants the big money at P1. Right now, P1 is held by Mike Alexander, a guy who was super dominant in the first part of iRacing we did in 2020. Didn't see him too much in the TCM events. I know he does the RBR racing. Rational Richard Drake is in second. Really a nice comeback for him after getting collected in a couple of different problems. Spun by himself not that long ago, and then getting tackled and tangled by the 99 Brandon Campbell earlier in this race.
Brad Eddy has managed to squeeze back and stay on the lead lap now in P16. He took 2 opportunities to head down pit road, so not sure what was in the mindset of his strategy, but he is a man on the move right now, throwing down some pretty fast lap times right now. So a little bit faster than our leaders. So keep an eye on Brad Eddy as a little bit quicker than what we're seeing at the front.
It's just so weird to see how the cautions will work out and how it'll really shake up the field. We have one guy completely dominate the first part of the race, and now he's further back just trying to get back into the front. And then we got a guy like Mike Alexander who did not have a very good heat race and was further back earlier in the get-go of this 250-lap event. But he's let the faster car of the 72, Brad Eddy, go around, and he is still in P1, and now we're focusing on Keith McClellan, Brett Suggs, and Ryan Matthews getting a little tangly with the 33, the 30, and the 51.
I know it's deep within my brain, but Brad Eddy, is that one of the teammates of Corey Hall, or is he part of the Mike Alexander camp? Which part of the Maritimes does Brad Eddy come out of?
I'd say he's closer associated with the Halls. Not 110% sure, but CHR, there's your answer.
Yes, there you go, yeah. But he did manage to get around Mike Alexander that lap, as you'll see Alexander just at the tail there of behind the 72. So props to the 72 of Brad Eddy getting that lap back, as he will not have to wait for the lucky dog, but he's got quite a bit of activity now to get done, as basically he's got a full lap to gain now to get behind Mike Alexander.
And right there, we're watching two drivers, two sons of drivers who race in the Pro Stock Tour, and Dan Eddy and Scotty Alexander. Just pretty cool to see how the racing will pass through generations, and I'm sure with other drivers, a third or potentially fourth generation will be on the track real soon. And that's such a cool thing about racing. It's how it's a family business, and the fathers will race grandfathers, and then sons, daughters. Just pretty neat, hey, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the things that we're missing here at New. Bit of history. Asphalt racing started here in the 1960s. A guy, George Spence from New Brunswick, actually came here and started the first asphalt track in the 1960s. And then it disappeared. And then Vern Hickey and a couple of guys, Bob Hutchings and several others, started dirt track racing here in Newfoundland. And then asphalt basically came back within the last couple of decades. So we don't have a long stretch of generations of passing the torch. But what we're seeing right now with our Bando kids, we're seeing it now in Sarah Thorne. Some of those dirt track racers that rejoined on the asphalt at Eastbound and Thunder Valley are now passing that torch. So we're only really seeing our second generation in Newfoundland. But it's always awesome to see some of these guys in the Maritime seeing fourth generation racers and seeing how close this has become a family affair. And right now, even in Cup, we're seeing it with Chase Elliott, Harrison Burton, and so many others. So it's pretty wild to see the torches being passed.
Do you want to feel old, Mike?
No, I'm not that old.
Harrison Burton will be the first driver born in the 21st century to start a Cup race at Talladega.
There you go.
Yeah. Good race. Gaunt Brothers race.
Well, when we were racing at New Smyrna with Josh Collins and the guys down there, some of the dogs that were down there that are now in Cup, Chris Bell, Natalie Decker was involved down there, Ty Majeski, Harrison Burton was dominant down there at that time. So to see these guys, Chris Bell now up in the Cup, it's amazing. There's a lot of talent in Atlantic Canada, and it's pretty wild to see. Even Wayne Smith this year during the pandemic, you see Cole Butcher down at the Snowball Derby. I can only imagine if we had 40, 50 races in a season that some of these guys down south are getting, how good the talent pool would be in Atlantic Canada.
It's with our seasons. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of warmth, and sometimes it's just too bitter cold to be at the racetrack. We do have our demolition events, and as we go through life here, I really hope we have more winter racing events. I know they used to do the Brass Monkeys at Scotia Speed World. It'd be so cool to have some consistency with winter racing coming up, because us racing fans, we like hockey and other things like Christmas in the winter time, but I would love to get to a racetrack in December or January just for a one-off. It'd be fun.
I don't know about Newfoundland. It should be blowing a gale over here at 90. I don't know. I'm up for announcing and that kind of mess, but it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it's absolutely beautiful here in the Maritimes and Atlantic Canada, And then obviously we get these really wild easterlies. So I know as a promoter, be a hard one to bet on. So you'd have to have a few snow dates, not rain dates.
No, you just have a winter race. You just plan to have a big race in the snow.
The Blizzard 100. As we take a peek right now, that's the 75. Going to put the 17 down a lap here as Mike Alexander starts to click him off here as Bob Hutchins now will go down a couple.
Yes, and we're coming towards the bitter end of this All Star Showcase. About 10 after 10, which I guess would be 22 in Newfoundland with half-hour difference. Coming towards almost night time, but thanks for sticking with us, and we're going to see who's going to win this whole shebang here. And the way it's looking, if we keep going green, I think Mike Alexander knows observe his tires and how much gas is in that car. I'd be weary if I was any of the other competitors thinking, okay, well, if it goes green flag, how much is the guy in front of me conserving? Mike is one of the best at doing it.
Well, he's really good, in the too wide situation where he pinches you down or pinches you to the top. He'll push the envelope and try to really make it hard on you. So, but right now, looking at the score clock right now, one of the faster cars on the track is Ryan Matthews. Mike Alexander had a little bit of a better lap on that one, but earlier on, you're seeing sometimes a tenth, sometimes 0.2 of a second that Ryan Matthews and the rest of the field are getting. So. But right now, back again, Mike Alexander throwing down some really good lap times and pretty much equal right across the board here. So it'll be interesting if they can be able to catch up. Mike Alexander right now, 46 laps on those tires. So strategy really playing a big part here as the rest of the field, 60 to 57 laps on those Goodyears. Ryan Matthews down 58 laps ago. Our leaders right now down 47. So 10, 11 laps in the difference in heat cycle. So it'll be interesting to see what we got here. Mike Alexander is known to stretch it out here, so I got a funny feeling he's going to go the distance.
If anyone can do it, it'll be him. I guarantee. If he can really stretch those tires, and he's got a giant lead right now in front of Richard Drake and then some of the other faster cars. So he's in a position right now where he can really conserve in case there are some cautions that come up.
Well, even if you start doing the math here, Ryan Matthews, who's a strong contender here tonight, who leading a lot of this race, who took the challenge from the back to the front. Right now, he's about 8.6 seconds off the pace. So even if he does pick up a tenth, he's going to have to pick up a lot of those tenths to get up to the lead right now, as long as Mike Alexander keeps clicking them off here.
Lap 185 of 250 at New Smyrna Speedway. Last big iRace before real racing kicks off real soon. Unfortunately, it was supposed to kick off real soon with some karting in East Coast, karting in Moncton, but the Atlantic bubble, as you probably know, has been delayed by 2 weeks to May 3rd, and that's a fingers crossed. But Mike, there's kind of a little petition going around to get a mini bubble with PEI, us here in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, just for the time being, while New Brunswick kind of figures out what they're doing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'll be pretty stoked because part of our ownership group, we have some of our family up in Truro, Nova Scotia, that's itching to get home. So it'll be exciting to see them and back home. But a lot of these guys over here like to come up through the IWK weekend. I know we're not racing the Advanced Auto Parts that weekend. We'll be drag racing, so a lot of the stock car guys will be wanting to come up and hang out with the Hall of Famer Dylan yourself.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored, but looking forward to it.
Looking for you, screech you in.
I'll be hiding in my own bubble. I'll be social distancing, but
I'll be sending the mafia.
We're looking forward to having a big year at Riptide. Of course, we're at the mercy of what's going on, so there could be a couple changes, but hopefully not too many. But got 60 laps left to go in this iRace here at New Smyrna, and the leader is still Mike Alexander. Could he be the man to stretch it all the way to the checkered flag?
He's going to come up on some more lap traffic right now. I believe that's the 72 in front of him, but the 72 did pass him. Looking at the time here on Brad Eddy, they're running pretty close, about 4/100ths of a second off. Brad Eddy a little bit quicker, but Brad Eddy now going to come up on, I believe that's the 41.
Yes.
So 59 laps to go here. It's been an interesting time. As we get flags, seeing a lot of cautions that I thought we were going to see with only 20 cars on the track. 3 cars retired here, but I was expecting a lot more energy out of this one. But I think if a caution comes out and they restack, we'll see that energy come back. So if my good buddy Larry Mack here in the booth with me, that there's quite possibility we will see a late caution here.
We're seeing Ryan Messer tucked down a pit road, and he's already been down the pit road once. So I'm wondering if he's a little low on the gasoline, or maybe he's thinking, okay, you know what? Maybe he knows something we don't. But he's going to go a lap down, though, so I'm not exactly sure what his strategy is at this point.
Well, Messer might be, analyzing. The spotters might be telling him that, there's quite possibility we're going to see a caution in the next couple laps, and he could take control if they do come down. So, but I don't think, like you said, I don't think we're going to see Mike Alexander. I really think he's going to really stretch his continuously. Been about 1.5 seconds off the pace off Mike. He's got lots of clean air out there, and he's saving a lot of that car right now and conserving fuel. I know if cautions comes out, these guys are known to actually flick on and off the fuel if the window is close. But it'll be wild to see if Mike can get it done here. But no challenge right now. 1.5 seconds is the closest challenger. But looking back at some of the stout drivers, like we said earlier, Ryan Matthews, now that lead is now getting a little bit bigger. 9 seconds now, Ryan Matthews to the leader.
And if you notice, folks, it's nighttime here in New Smyrna, so that's going to make the track completely different. Cooler, more grip. You can notice cars are really sticking to the bottom of the turns. And, just chilling out here on a beautiful Florida night. And, we may get a little tangly here. Brett Suggs almost rode up the back of the 97, Riley Duncan, as those 3 drivers have been close together. Oh, what's going on with Tully?
Tully's out the pace, but we are still on the green. They are going to throw the caution on this one. So that's going to draw in big switch up in this one. Mike Alexander will have to stack them up with the rest of the field, and but advantage for Brad Eddy. Brad Eddy, who had passed Mike Alexander to get back on the lead lap, he will now start a couple of rows back. So we'll see. Paul, bring us back to see what happened.
Yeah, just taking a quick peek here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. Looks like Craig Tully just kind of lost the car there. He was about 63 laps on his tires, it looks like, and being scored 20th, 2 laps down. But being that he was right there with some of the leaders and some of the lead lap cars, caution comes out for that 5 car. And boy, oh boy, pit road is a busy place.
I'm actually watching Brett Suggs' live stream right now on Facebook. He's got a VR headset. Are you kidding me?
Well, we were talking about simulators earlier. That's now are opting for the virtual reality sets as they come down in price. Technology right nowadays in video gaming is impressive, but lots of activity out there. We have a new leader. Ashton Tucker now will take over that lead. Chris Roma, Dustin Momberket, Joey Stiers, and Brad Eddy decide to stay out. But Ashton Tucker now is going to come down. Dustin Momberket's going to take pit road as well. Joey Stiers. Man, pretty much everybody is coming down except for Chris Roma and Brad Eddy.
Man, I'm so blown away with Brett Suggs' live stream where he's using the VR headset. I don't know how this guy does not get a headache. His eyes must be just completely used to it because it's in real time when he's moving his head. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Phil Fowler, the 11 from Newfoundland, he has the VR set up, and pretty crazy. That's why I put that on. It was pretty wild.
I mean, I was talking about, getting in the sim rig and, really experiencing the realness as best you can. I think you need a VR headset to really take advantage of that. But Brett is going to be starting a bit further back in this field as we're going to have less than 50 to go here. And Chris Roma looks like he's going to be starting first.
I don't know if that was the right strategy to take here, because we've seen earlier with 60 or 80 laps on tire, tenths of a second in the difference between fresh Goodyear. So I got a funny feeling this row number 2 is going to blow by our leaders, our current leaders, Chris Roma, Brad Eddy. Roma down 79 laps on those good 67 laps for Brad Eddy. Rest of the field, pretty much, except for Conrad Murphy, have basically reported on that last caution.
Dang it.
Oh, man, this is going to be a tangly restart.
Well, Rational Richard down with some fresh rubber. We'll be starting on the outside. If he times this perfectly, we could have a hard-charging 141 Rash. So this is a game changer. 46 to go here. Man, this is what we were looking for to spice this one up a little bit, because we've seen some really long green flag stretches. Not that it was not exciting, but as a fan, you really like these restarts here to bunch them back up again and see some of these battles. And we've seen a lot of two-way driving, some door-to-door slamming in the heat races, and I got a funny feeling the final pretty exciting.
Speaking of spicing things up, boys, we can't talk about Red Sox stream and his VR without actually showing it. So we're going to take a look at an AIM.shop shop double feature. On your screen, right side is our broadcast. On the left side, at the very same time, Red Sox stream, and you can see exactly what he says, and you'll be able to see this restart in live time, exactly what Dylan's talking about. As Brett's moving his head, it moves around the view of the race car and on the inside. And really, really cool little setup, and as you made mention, as they come down in price, it's very cool to see with all these iRacers.
Yeah, I mean, they just look. You can see how he's keeping his head pretty straight, and when he was on the pace laps, he was moving his head around a bunch.
Man,
he had a big wreck in the backstretch.
Rational Richard goes up in the corner, and they're going to wad up behind him. Boy, that's going to be a game changer. Paul, we're going to have to see some slow-mo on this one.
We're going to have to take a look from the slow-mo on the blimp. Going to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And we're going to have to focus in on this one pretty good.
Chat, did you just see that right there? Oh.
Back everything up just a bit. And Rational Richard Drake going a little bit airborne here. And it was quite a bit of, what's that word, Mikey? Tangly? We're taking, just backing everything up here.
With an E.
Yeah, with an E. Couple of E's. There we go. Easy enough for us to say. So here's the restarts up front, and focus in on that 141 machine. He and the 75, I believe they make, there's the contact. They kind of pancake the doors a little bit, and it shoots Richard Drake up the track just a bit. Gets up there in the marbles. 209 laps. There you can see Mike Alexander going all the way down on the low side. He gets in the marbles down on the apron, and it almost looks like there was two simultaneous wrecks there that happened at the same time. There you can see the Roma machine of the 83 getting involved. The 51 spins around Ryan Matthews, Riley Duncan getting a piece of it. Tant Woldridge does a great job driving through there, and you can see the 41 of Gosse gets through. Bob Hutchings gets through. He's going to tear up the grass just a little bit, and Ryan
Who's
Matthews
going
backwards? Going backwards in the 51 machine. Not
Matthews.
Really,
he's doing the cold trickle down pit road.
Yeah, he's gonna tap into 141 there of Richard Drake, and well, he's gonna find himself on pit road. But crazy to see it. Brad Eddy in that 72 car. He's gonna be the leader.
Game change.
Bam.
Reset. Well, I don't know if the marbles had anything to do with that, but there was a bit of contact there with Mike Alexander. It seemed like they kind of checked up a little bit there as they drifted up, and obviously it just got very tangly up there in the corner.
That was as tangly as I think we've had and got this season.
Oh boy. I use that word quite a bit because when I was in school in engineering, we used to have a pub crawl team called Shit-Faced and Tangly. Just so you know.
Oh, good. You're an engineer?
Spent 6 years at Memorial doing. I was doing naval architecture until I entered motorsports, and I don't know if that was a good idea, but
yeah, I was going to say, why did you do that?
It really brought a different career for me. Got involved in monster trucks, extreme sports, the X Games, and travel all over the world. So I guess it was a good choice at the time.
Well, you're stuck here with us, eh?
I got a big family now, and enjoying some time in Newfoundland and Labrador. Moved home from Atlanta, Georgia 10 years ago, and started a fam jam and got to meet Pat Squires, the legend. And boy, we've had a great run here in Newfoundland. So back to Green Flag Racing. It's going to be Brad Eddy, Mike Alexander. That opportunity. Could he get it done here tonight? He did not take the challenge to go to the back of the pack, and now he finds himself to the front, but they're wrecking again behind. Oh, baby, hang on to it.
Yeah, we got Riley Duncan beat around like a pinball in turn 3 and 4. Another caution here at New Smyrna.
Well, Larry Mack, exactly what we talked about.
I said there'd be a caution in the portion of this race.
Paul, take us back, bro.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions. Another Kong Beer Bong instant replay. We're going to take a quick peek here, focus in on that 97 car involved in this one. Once again, a lot of damage on that 97 car throughout the incidents here. You can see it kind of drives up the wall just a little bit, makes some contact with Lumbercat. Lumbercat able to collect it, but unfortunately for Conrad Murphy and Craig Tully, they get a piece of the 97 car as he gets through here. I want to take another look at that from the onboard of the 16 car. That was some fantastic driving, avoiding that. You can see he kind of cut through the grass there as you saw the smoke. Riley Duncan down there. Oh, he actually gets hit by the 97 as he comes off the wall. Does a little bit of drift, Tokyo drift action, and collects back up, and he's going to hold on to that 7th position in the 16 car. So a great save there by the 16.
Ryan Matthews, done for the evening.
He's done.
Opportunities, the 51 has officially retired. Dustin Monbriquet still looking like he's got an opportunity here in P7.
Yeah, Dutton, that's going to throw the pole award there and the pole challenge to the 16 then.
He has to win, though, isn't that correct?
No, just it doesn't matter where he finishes. His prize money doubles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I just learned something new today.
You did it.
Rachel Richard, Chris Roma on pit road. A little bit of activity here. Rachel picking up a bit of damage through all this calamity, if you would like to call it. But he will rejoin the field to the rear here. As he comes around, he is holding the P14 position. As a couple of cars are still down a lap. Justin Collison in the P15 down a lap. Ted Woolridge down a lap. Bob Hutchins down 2. Craig Tully down 3. So right now, Mike Alexander is showing as our leader right now under that caution.
Yeah, and he's going to have a fast guy and Brad Eddy on his outside. And we are doubled up, and we're going to go Green Flag Racing once again. 218, I believe, 219 in the books once we get back to Green Flag Racing. 34, Mike Rhino in third, Brett Suggs, and his live stream. We got to see the VR headset. That thing is so cool with the lights out. And he avoided that wreck, and funny enough, we were on board with him when that happened. So great heads-up driving, literally and figuratively, with the 33, Brett Suggs. Pace car is going to pull a Larry, pulls in. Here we go. Green. And Magic Mike Alexander gets in front right away, but Mike Rhino is going to make it interesting, going to make it hard for the 72 of Brad Eddy to get on the bottom.
Well, Mike Alexander did a fab job on that restart. He came into the commitment box. He held it on. I was betting, man, he was going to fire right away, but it did the complete opposite, holding that field up and really upset the balance back there. And we're seeing a bit of disturbance there. A lot of too wide as we take a peek at the 2 car of Ashton Tucker, now getting past the 36 of Fougere. Fougere needs to tuck in here. As look at that, that's Collis, our Dustin Monbriquet on the run now. He'll get to the bottom and try to pick up some spots.
Movers and shakers, comers and goers. Lap 221 of 250, the back end of the TCM All Star Showcase, brought to you by Pit Road TV, the Laker News and Fitzpatrick cars, and Mike Alexander conserving those tires and the fuel is in front of Mike Rhino. And how about Mike Rhino? He almost completely wrecked out of the heat race earlier. Still able to make this race as everyone qualified, but now he is in P2, and Brett Suggs all over the back now. The 72 car. Oh, he gives him a boot. He boots the 72 out of the way. Brad Eddy's able to hang on to it, though. What a boot scoop to the number 72.
a little boot scoot and boogie. But you were talking about Mike Rhino there. Talk about strategy here. Mike Rhino down pit road 5 times here tonight. Picked up some damage earlier on, so repairing, coming in and out during these cautions, and picking up a little bit of a cleaner car here. Mike Alexander also with a bit of strategy, 4 times down pit road here tonight. So quite a bit of different flip side is what we're seeing here than what we've seen in the first half of this race. But Mike Alexander's got a bit of assistance there, as the 34 is his teammate. But that gap right now, Suggs into P3, he is hard charging right now, but is 2 seconds off the pace of our leader.
Brett Suggs in his VR headset in third. He got around Ashton Tucker just a couple laps ago. 24 left in the show, and Brett Suggs has caught up to Mike Rhino. He was laying back. I was wondering what's going on with the 33. Looks like he may have been in the conservation game too, as he, with less than 25 to go, is in the prime spot to maybe run down. Mike Rhino rides the... And that's going to make it easier for the 33, Brett Suggs, to go around. But speaking of going around, the number 2 car goes around, and he's in a bad spot. Tully! He's out of here. Home run.
Back, way back.
That may very well be the first home run we've ever seen here on Vidane TV.
I think Ashton Tucker is dead.
It could go. It's back.
Wow.
Definitely going to take a look here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. I was going to say he held on to that position for quite some time there on the track. I would say that
we need slow-mo.
Be a penalty. Yeah, the delay of game penalty. But it doesn't look like he's at the track anymore. So don't think he's going to be getting the penalty there. But we're going to back up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay and take a quick peek at that.
He's back in New Brunswick.
So here you can see, if I can get the right button pushed here, you can see a little bit of contact there. The 16, just a slight tap into the number 2 car. He locks the brakes up right in the center of the track here, and there's Craig Tully with nowhere to go and just sends him. Comes on up, and there you can see with the reset there as he leaves the track, kind of gets shot up into the track and lands on pit road. And well, you know the rule. You leave the track, all 4 tires leave the track here on Vidane TV. We got to take a look from inside the car. So there you can see, there's the contact. The 16 gets just a little bit of a tap, gets sideways, locks up the brake, the smokes from the tires, and here comes Craig Tully.
I wonder if he's looking at him. He's going, oh, shit.
So tough break for Ashton Tucker. Dustin Monberquette appears to be out of the race here as well, and Craig Tully going to be scored a few more laps down as well.
I didn't think we'd call a home run in this series, but we just did. You think we can do the Blue Jays broadcast for tomorrow?
We've had some big air. I think that has to take the cake for the Extreme Sports Big Air Award.
Holy mackerel. I mean, the number 5 just walloped the number 2. But that's going to leave us with less than 20 laps to go. Mike Rhino is going to start on the outside of Mike Alexander. But look who's going to be right behind the 75. Brett Suggs, who I think right now is the best car on the track.
Well, Dustin Monberquette has checked out. Ashton Tucker has checked out. So they have exited from this event. So Dustin Monberquette will win that award, like I said. But where he lands, not quite sure. As Tully and Roma are still within grasp there on pit road. But we are getting back to green flag. Mike Alexander fires right away. A little bit different from that last one. But Suggs is trying to take advantage here on the bottom 34 of Mike Rhino. But look who's here. Can he go back-to-back? Ryan Messer has re-entered the picture here. He's been out in the dark most of this event, but still plenty of time to go as Messer gets dirty right now with the 36 of Fougere.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, Rhino gets body checked by Brett Suggs. Brett is not, I won't say he's playing dirty, but he's certainly not playing the I don't want my car game. And if you remember, Mike, remember the weekly racing series? What 2 drivers didn't get along too well?
Suggs and Mike Alexander.
You're bang on the money, sir. And look who's won. in the TCM All Star Showcase with 15 laps to go. Brother, if there was VR fighting, may have brought this one.
Well, you know, there's plenty of time here. 15 laps to go, half mile here in New Smyrna. If you're joining, man, have you missed out on a wild night in the TCM All Star. Right now, Mike Alexander dominating with 75 as we ride on board the 33 of Brett Suggs from North Carolina as he really throws it in there. But we are going to see a caution on lap 236, pretty much at the rear of the field here. I believe it was Justin Carlson as we're seeing him on pit road right now. But we're going to let Paul take us back in future. Take us back, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, we'll back it up and see if we can take a look, kind of focusing in on that battle. If that caution flag didn't come out, man, it would have been a great battle between Brett Suggs and the leader, Mike Alexander. Looks like the 23 car is involved in this one, Joey Steers. So we're going to back this up. Take a quick peek at it. Actually, you know what? It looks like this is one of those wrecks where a couple of wrecks happen. So we're going to look from the blimp. And we're going to take a peek here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. First thing I want to make mention, look at all the marbles down low and up high. All that tire wear throughout the night. Really making these drivers lose throughout. But there you can see the bottom of your screen. Noel Fougier, Mike Rhino makes some contact. There goes the 30. Daddy Mac, he gets spun around. Conrad Murphy gets by. Steers tries to avoid the wreck. He T-bones the 30 Bud Light machine. Crumples him up like a beer can. And that's a tough break for the 23 as well as the 30. That was a couple of really big hits there.
You mentioned the marbles, the tire wear. These guys that have been hanging out to dry on the top side. This is why, if you're a leader, is a big advantage of tire conservation. We've seen a lot of cars go too wide, a lot of laps. It's a cheese grater up there, and you're seeing a lot of that marbles as we see the side profile. As we come down the backstretch, we'll see take a peek at how much tire wear here at New Smyrna, and it's pretty much the same as real life during speed weeks. Man, oh man, what a mess you see up here in turns 3 and 4. As we come around the corner, and you'll see a lot of that excess rubber basically building up to the top.
So less than 10 laps to go with this restart, and man, you've got really a guy who has chiseled his way to the top, to the front row. Brett Suggs, a guy who has conserved a lot. Mike Alexander. Ryan Messer in the number 1. Now, if I remember, Mike, I think with the TCM All Star Showcase last year, I think Ryan was in 3rd, and he took advantage of 2 cars wrecking each other to take the win.
Well, I don't have that good of a memory, but was it Mike Alexander or Brett Suggs wrecking in front of Ryan Messer?
No, I want to say it was Codner and John Fitzpatrick. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
I think so. Maybe. Well, anyways, we're going to have 9 to go here as come around turn 1, 2, down the backstretch, which is going to leave 8 laps as they cross the start-finish line on this restart. Mike Alexander, I don't know if Suggs been taking notes, but Alexander in the past usually fires right away, but we from the 75 here tonight, he held him back, disturbed the whole field just a couple of restarts earlier. So we'll see what happens as they come around 3 and 4, and the pace car will officially exit here. We are going back for a shootout. 8 laps going to be on the board. Mike Alexander is in control. Suggs and the 75, and look at this, little Skrupski. Suggs into 33 and full attack will go at it, and they're going to go at it as well. Called it. That battle with each other has been brewing for a long time.
That
was man.
Gonna back up the Kong Beer Bong replay one more time and take a quick peek at that. Man, oh man, these drivers have run into each other a couple of times before, and it looked like Brett Suggs, we're going to actually go right at the restart here. You saw Mike Alexander pull away just a little bit right off the restart. Brett Suggs had a great shot there. He kind of crossed over, but as he crossed over, gave him a little bit of a bump and shot the 75 up the track just a little bit, and 2 drivers kind of getting close to each other, trying to occupy the same piece of real estate at the same time. And there you can see everybody else getting involved, and Mike Alexander, I can imagine, not very happy at that point. There you can see Gosse around in the 41, Riley Duncan getting some more damage on that 97 car here this evening, and it looks like Craig Tully may have had a piece of that as well.
Have you ever listened to some of those YouTube channels, listening to the driver and spotters communication sometimes?
Yes.
I can only imagine what was just said over the PA, over the radio.
I'm wondering why. Okay, I was gonna say, like, why is the 33 staying up in front? I mean, he was involved in the point.
Well, game changer, and Ryan Messer will be not in control of this one. So we'll
Ryan
see what
Messer
happens
will
there.
have the lead, it looks like. Brad Eddy second, Conrad Murphy third, Richard Drake fourth, Justin Collison fifth. It appears both Mike Alexander and Brett Suggs getting sent to the back for both being involved in that this late race caution.
Man, that 72 is like the cat that just came back. I don't know how many times I heard that as a child, but that 72 is really vying for a win here tonight. He'll start on the outside of Ryan Messer. Will Messer go repeat back-to-back here in 2020-2021 in the All Star Showcase here for TCM? Folks, this is going to be a wild shootout. Will we see a run from Rational Richard? He'll be in row 2. Conrad Murphy, who we haven't talked a lot about here tonight, Mr. Opportunity right now, is on the inside of row number 2.
Hey, you don't need to lead all the laps. You just need to lead the last one. That's the one that pays all the money. And the lights are out on the pace car. Ryan Messer. Oh, okay.
Get ready.
All right. I guess we're gonna. I guess we came to a fight and a race broke out.
It's like a poker right now, all in right now. Get up and stand up. It's going to be a wild one. Hold on to it as they're going to send him around one more time. Going to leave 3-lap shootout here. Pace car will exit here. Ryan Messer with the hammer. Dylan, get ready.
Tom hanging on to something. Green flag is back out. Ryan Messer slightly in front of Brad Eddy. Will the one try and slide up in front of the 72? Will we? Eddy tried sticking his nose underneath the number 1. 3 laps to go in the TCM All Star Shootout here, the showcase. With the number 1, Ryan Messer. We got the number 89, Murphy, on the apron, drifting at a turn 3 and 4. Things are getting wild. Things are getting tangly. The flash bombs are in the stands. Mike Rhino spins out. Are we going to keep green flag racing? It looks like it with Ryan Messer and Brad Eddy. One more to go in the All-Star Showcase. Could we see a back-to-back event here for Ryan Messer? Brad Eddy's going to give it all he's got. He was the pole sitter. Will he dive deep into turn number 3? He's all over the bumper. He's right there. Will he give him a boot scoop? Gives him a boot. Gives him a scoot. Hits him. And he knocks the number 1 to the finish line. The 72 will spin the one out.
I don't know how they're going to score that one, but that was incredible for us fans and announcers calling that one. Dylan, man, oh man. You're going to have get some protein after that one.
I don't even know what
Or
to
some
say.
whiskey.
I don't know. I'm going to need a couple of whiskeys after that one. I think they're giving the win to Brad Eddy.
Well, it was an interesting one for sure. Man, what Brad Eddy leading it, taking the pole here tonight. We had 2 pole challengers going to the rear. Brad Eddy dominated the first half of this race and got caught up in those cautions and went down a lap. Managed to squeeze one out and got in front of Mike Alexander. Got some great position. Went down pit road and then managed to get to the front. So pretty impressive night from Brad, but I know there's probably some choice words right now with Ryan Messer. It almost came to the point where Brad Eddy almost pushed Messer across the start-finish line there.
Can we get a replay on that, Paul? Yeah, we need to see that because that was just insane of just how it looked like Brad just got such a run on the backstretch against the number 1 and moved him out of the. We'll move the graphics and we'll take a look at this and see exactly what happened. But it looks like that Brad Eddy's going to be the TCM All Star Showcase winner. So he gives him a shot there.
Yeah, because we haven't heard from Tim just yet, so I'm sure there's some debate going on in the tower right next to us.
See, he didn't really
all that wheel into that car, really trying to hold on to it. But man,
he almost pushed him across.
He almost did. And there's Richard Drake, man. How about that? Another 20 feet. We would have seen another the 141 winning here tonight. No Fougere finishing third.
Fougere finishing 3rd. Are you kidding me?
How about that? Everything's still unofficial at this point. Waiting to hear.
Well, I mean, I'll argue for Brad there. Like he didn't really wreck the number one. Like, he didn't turn him in the middle of the turn. He booted him a bit, which is short track racing. But we don't make the calls, but Tim does. Tim Terry, wild finish. But are we officially saying that Brad Eddy has won the All Star Showcase?
The winner of this race is the 141. We penalized the 72 behind the one for the last lap contact. It's the same thing we've done that's been consistent throughout the showcase, or not the showcase, the weekly racing series that we've had here on Wednesday nights. If it's a last lap incident, whatever else, we have, I think, to look at something else outside the top 10 from my understanding. But the important thing is the 141, 36, 13 is unofficially your top three. We'll take a look at it here in a bit. Unofficially, your winner is the 141.
Tim,
well, how about that, boys?
Is this how it ended on the last All Star Showcase?
I don't think it was a last lap deal, but I think you're probably right. I can't remember what we did during the Eastbound race 2 hours ago.
Well, there you have it. Tim Terry, got your hands full, bud, man. Dylan has been pretty wild. But we got a race winner in here, Dylan. You want to rush?
Yeah, we'll chat with the announcer last night to apparently the winner tonight, Rational Richard Drake. Richard, you got a copy on your fancy mic?
I got a copy, Dylan. How are you?
I'm good, but you're probably better than me and Mike and all of us here. Unofficially, after that wild last lap, you have won the TCM All Star Showcase. With me saying that, how does that feel? And can you take us back through that last few laps there?
I am bewildered, man. My car was just wrecked to pieces. I think a lot of ours were. It was carnage going through, despite actually some really long green flag racing. It's New Smyrna is a really fun track, but it's pretty tight, and there's just not a lot of room. The preferred groove is the outside lane, and everybody's just kind of piling in there. So I was really just trying to pull off the best finish we can. We always try to have an attitude on this team and never giving up. And I was really just hoping I could pull together a top 10 finish. I had my sights set on 10th. We had a couple of restarts at the end there, and I kept going up, but I expected to get past given all the damage. And really, I think that was just probably my luckiest race ever. That was just luck at the end.
We're watching the replay right now from your vantage point. What exactly did you see with you on that final lap, and especially going into turn 3 and 4?
Yeah, I saw the smoke, so I had a feeling there might be a little bit of contact coming, but you kind of got the pillar in the way, and the way the windshield's looking, you really can't see ahead of you. So at the end of the day, I just tried to get my bearings and go up by the wall because I figured they'd be wrecking low if they were going to wreck at all. And I think I managed to weave through the two of them, but it was just sort of luck at the end there, just trying to scrounge together one more position if I could.
Do you have a spotter, or do you just stick with the computer spotter?
No, I got my dad spotting for me, and I really owe a lot to him for this race because we thought we had a winning strategy in what turned out to be making the best of that first wreck we were in. So if you notice, we had some bad luck at the start, or near the end, and he was like, "Go in and take fuel. Just take max fuel. Don't take tires yet." And that's how, when we had all those green flag pit stops, I was able to stay out, which put us in second behind Mike Alexander there for a while. And until we got wrecked on one of those restarts, I thought we might have had a chance at running down Mike and at least giving a good battle for the end. But no, I owe a lot to him. He keeps me calm too. It's, emotions run high in those races out there, and I can think of no one better in my ear than my dad. He's great.
So going into the 2021 race season, you came up just a little short with the weekly racing series last week. You finished second. Does this make up for it?
I think it does. It's funny too, right? Because it's always the ones that you never see coming, and that's totally tonight. It was a surprise, but that almost makes it a gift, so to speak. It's definitely put me in a good mood, especially because this is the end of our season. I love this stuff, so I'm definitely happy for you guys in that I know it's a heck of a lot to put these broadcasts together, and y'all deserve a good vacation. But it's bittersweet too because I've really fallen in love with iRacing, and I'm going to miss it for sure.
For any fans watching, where can they find Rational Richard at the real racetrack? I know you did some stuff with Scotia Speed World. Are you going to venture to any other tracks this season?
We'd like to. So it really kind of depends on our towing situation, but you can definitely catch us at Scotia Speed World. We might be trying this is a real maybe, so don't get your hopes up, but we might be trying to give you a visit down the dirt track. That would be pretty sweet if we could put something together down there. And I think I've said before, if anybody needs something raced and you're looking for a driver, I'm your guy. So I pretty much race anything in addition to our usual 4-cylinder programs. So if there's a race available, I'll be there as long as I can.
I know there's a lot of people you want to thank. You mentioned your dad, Paige, helping out tonight, but I know Pat Healy was yelling at me because we were talking about you, then you got taken out. But hey, there's a lot of people you want to thank, right? And a lot of supporters.
Absolutely, Dylan. Thank you for that. Big shout-outs to Pat Healy. Thank you so much, buddy. I was gutted originally because I didn't think we were going to have a good representation for the Laker News tonight, especially with Pat coming on as one of the sponsors for tonight, and really happy to be able to put this in victory lane. So thank you, Pat Healy of the Laker News. Big thanks to Covey's Auto Recyclers. Go check them out if you need anything automotive, and big thanks to Kinetic Racing. That's my team.
All right, man. Well, go celebrate. You've won the TCM All Star Showcase. Congratulations, Richard. And who knows, maybe I'll get the booth here to maybe tell us about how good you are, to show your experience and tell everyone about it, right?
That's right. Thanks, Dylan.
No problem. Rational Richard Drake, the big win. After a crazy final lap with a number 1 in the 72. But Mike, guess what? I've got my good buddy Noel Fougier in here. I'll chit-chat with him real quickly, because I know I'm going to be seeing him real soon at Riverside. Noel, got a copy?
I do, Dylan. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Have you been practicing your singing?
Yes, I have been preparing for the big day coming up.
Perfect. Were you singing a bit once you realized you finished P2 tonight?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect it after that last lap fiasco, but I'm definitely super happy to bring this thing home P2.
I mean, just a crazy race. I mean, we were seeing you battle with Brett Suggs for a good chunk, and we're watching the replay right now, final lap after Brad and Ryan took each other out, and you crossed the start-finish line technically in 4th, but the last few restarts there, Noel, take us through that.
Well, to start, the beginning of the race was actually really good. Long green flag runs, made for some great racing, talking about tire wear and moving around different lines and stuff like that, made for some good racing. This is actually a track that I've never raced at before until tonight. I didn't even own the track until 2 days ago. So it was almost a hidden gem. It was actually quite fun. Didn't expect the racing to be as good as it was, but the last couple restarts were a bit of a disaster. I'm not going to lie, as the race kind of fell apart, but I mean, it's what you'd expect. You got a 250 lap race. Everyone's trying to win. There's money on the line. You can almost expect a couple bonehead moves from everybody at the end of the race. But I think I was involved in every single one of those cautions, which was nice. But thankfully, iRacing made these new super late models pretty tough. So the car held up to the end.
How are you finding these new super late models? I've heard some drivers say things that they missed the old one and it's hard to pass. What do you think about these?
The new one was definitely a bit more of a learning curve than I was expecting. I was expecting a bit more of a lateral transfer from one to the other with almost just a visual update, but the car was completely done over top to bottom. Definitely something that needed to be relearned. I think the car suits my driving style. I like the old car. I like the new car. Different reasons, different ups, different downs. The biggest thing on this car that I notice is how much it likes to move around, especially on entry of the corner. I find the car is a lot more loose and it's hard to get it to set into the track. I find you got to make sure you really nail the line and nail your braking points to get the optimal lap times, as the older car I find was a lot more forgiving.
So a lot of these drivers that were racing with you tonight, these are guys in race car, but you're kind of like us. We're staff at the racetrack, and for those who don't know, you're the national anthem singer at Riverside. How pumped are you to get back there in 2021?
Definitely very excited. The new season at Riverside, we got a couple races going on for the 2021 season. It's definitely going to be super exciting to get back out there. Hopefully see some fans out there from all parts, hopefully, depending on the isolation situation. But no, definitely excited to get back out there and see even some of the drivers in this race face to face again, and to see you, Dylan, and Timmy back at the racetrack once again.
Well, you beat a couple pro stock guys tonight, like Ryan Messer, so you got that in your cap. But hey, great race, Noel. Keep up those vocal cords all warmed up, and we'll see you in June.
Thanks a lot, Dylan. I really appreciate it. See you later.
No problem, buddy. Noel Fougier finishing second tonight unofficially. Mike, if you're there, do you want to chat with our third place finisher?
Yeah, Justin Carlson, you get a copy? Justin, you get a copy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, here you go. What's going on, Joss? Pretty wild ride here tonight. It got a bit busy there in the last 50 laps. Take us through your night, and what was your strategy coming in tonight?
Mainly, it was just stay out of trouble and not run out of fuel coming to the line. And then I got put down 3 laps there, and that was a long green flag run. I didn't think we were coming back and recovering. And then the cards kind of just came to my hand, and yeah.
Well, look at that tire strategy. You had the front tires on those restarts, only 20 laps on those Goodyears compared to everybody else. Brad Eddy with 114 laps on his. So what was your pit road strategy coming in tonight?
I definitely just wanted to have a set definitely for the end. It didn't matter if it was just left sides or right sides. 2 tires are definitely, even if they were fresher, a lot faster than 4. But yeah, we got a little boxed in there on that last restart. I think we would have had something for the leaders there, but I'll still take a third place finish.
100%. It got a lot of got a pretty wild back there in the mid pack. You were there mid pack for quite some time, and a lot of times in the top 10 there. Take us a lot of action on the outside there. Were you looking for the long run or the short runs here tonight?
Definitely was just mainly trying to be there at the long runs because it was pretty clean racing all night. Honestly, amazing racing all night. Other than the end there, everybody got a little bit rambunctious. But yeah, no, I just want to save my stuff and beat it at the end. Definitely got to thank Austin Penny for being on the box tonight. He definitely helped huge, and it worked out.
Well, it's great to hear. Anybody else you want to thank tonight that gets it done for you?
I got to thank my real life sponsors: London Recreational Racing, Grey Bar Canada, Cloverdale Paint, Air Crane Service, Morris High Rods, all those guys. Definitely got to thank you guys, Tim, Paul Strickland for putting on the stream and stuff, at Dane TV, all you guys. This was an awesome event to be a part of. I'll definitely be back.
Now, we didn't get to see you a lot throughout this year, but it's always a pleasure to see what you got for us. What's your home track, Justin?
The home track's Flamborough up here in Ontario. We'll see what's going on with COVID, and it's probably just only going to be a limited schedule, I think, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get a full schedule going.
Yes, now my memory is serving me correct. We had Smokin' Joe in calling the show that you took the big win that night. So congratulations from all of us at TCM, and dude, podium finish here at the All Star is something to be proud of. It was a wild night, and we look forward to seeing you, and all success for your upcoming season.
Thank you very much. There's definitely not a dull moment tonight, that's for sure.
100%, man, and we look forward to seeing more of this in the coming year. We're going to probably be taking a break, Tim, as we get ready, set to go for the real race season. Tim, what did you think tonight for the second All Star Showcase in 2020-2021?
Well, the finish kind of came a little unraveled after all the green flag racing that we saw, but it's short track racing. What do you expect? Want to thank Brad Eddy. Usually when something happens like that and a call is made at the end of the race, I'm sure Brad's probably upset, but he took it really well. He understood the call, all of that. So as much as it sucks for Brad, because if you remember back last night, for him to qualify into this race, he finished second last night, but he had to work his way from the back of the field after getting dumped. So it's been a long night. So kudos to Brad Eddy. I know that's not the finish that he wanted, but he will be scored behind Ryan Messer. Ryan came across the line, or backed up across the line, in 7th, so Brad will be scored as 8th. Congratulations to all these drivers, though. They put on a great show, some long green flag racing. One green flag pit stop, or one green flag cycle that was interrupted by, I think, a car that kind of stopped to bring a yellow out. Can't really help that with the way it is that driver finished deep in the order anyway. We got some things to look at, but I would say probably your top 10 is pretty solid. Sparks flying at the end, tempers flaring, all that nice stuff. But it is what it is. Congratulations to Richard Drake, Noel Fougier, Justin Collison. Great to see Justin class act as well. Good luck to everybody on their seasons. The local season's ramping up here. I know me and Dylan, as long as the bubble opens, are going to Miramichi in 4 weeks' time to get going. Petty Raceway opens up here in a little bit as well. Most of the drivers in this race tonight have some sort of connection, whether it's here, Ontario, down south, to the real racing community. So good luck to everybody. Thank you for supporting this deal. For those that are looking for payment, payment date is Tuesday. So I've got to scrounge up the count the dollars and everything else for the drivers, get that out to them. I owe Dylan some beer. I think I owe Mike a $12 bottle of wine. I owe Paul, so I don't know what I owe Paul, but we will figure something out. Coming up, we've got Monday night, Tim's Corner Live, and I believe you might want to watch the Facebook page because we may be doing more than one Tim's Corner Live show next week. So keep your eyes out and your ears peeled and all that other nice stuff for that. We're still confirming guests for the Monday night show and potentially another show later on that week. That's going to be exciting. Sim 500's on here. You got the Sim Racing Unleashed boys on Sunday night. Plenty of sim racing. If you're looking for sim racing, Verdane is the place to go. Head over, throw them a like if you haven't already. Vote for Eastbound Park, advancemytrack.com. Get them some money so they can put up some shiny new stuff over there in 2021. I'm done. That was it. Thank you to Paige Drake for being a part of the admin side of things. Brent Roy kind of hopped in here a little bit from time to time as well. Thank you to everybody that put this on, from broadcast to race control to whatever else. I feel like I'm on a Grammy speech. Music's playing in the background. That's it. Thank you to Paul Strickland Jr. from Verdane TV. The Laker News, Pat Healy for supporting this one. Tony Stevens, Pit Row TV, and John Fitzpatrick, who couldn't make it. Life got in the way. He was locked into this race, won the Jim Hallahan race earlier this year. So what our schedule looks like for fall, we don't know. Stay tuned at timscorner.ca. But we're going real racing now, boys. 4 weeks away. Woo! That's going to do it for us here this evening. My name is Tim Terry for Dylan Langell, Mike James, Paul Strickland Jr. Until, I guess, Monday night for Tim's Corner Live. Keep the hammer down. We'll see you at the track.
Tim, I need to send you a bag of...
Track here or something like that?
About 10 or 15 years ago, they built a dirt track, got people interested in racing.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Newfoundlanders and Labradorians the opportunity to get into the higher level NASCAR. It's basically set the stage for anybody who want an opportunity to become professional. People that didn't even know where Avondale was to at one point, and now it's recognized all over North America.
Just growing up, my family and everyone around me, I always loved racing and watched it a lot. So naturally, I always started watching it and I just went forward a bit more and I just ended up progressing to racing at Eastbound. Racing gives me the confidence to say I can do something that I put my mind to and I can do this and I can succeed at what I want.